Emerson. In the 1990s, celebrated director Rob Reiner decided to adapt a popular play that was written by Aaron Sorkin and adapt it for the big screen. It is called A Few Good Men. In order to put this film together, he assembled an all-star cast of wonderful actors and actresses that features names such as Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak, Kiefer Sutherland, among many, many others, and this has been known to be one of the best courtroom dramas of all time. Tonight, we are going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of A Few Good Men. Now, in order to celebrate this incredible film, every Dan Cappy needs a Lieutenant Weinberg and a Lieutenant Commander Galloway, which you'll find out more about those characters as we go throughout the course of this film. But first, I want to introduce our special guest. Please welcome, who is no stranger to this stage. He is no stranger to us because he's part of the fun. Please welcome the youngling, the young Padawan who's way too young to be on this show, but we bring him in every time we can anyway. Please welcome Matt Kearns. Kearns, good to see you, my man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm also well above drinking age, so I don't know why Ryan feels the need to talk to me like I'm 5.
Listen, it's all in good fun, and listen, every
I'm a
Dan
Toys R Us
Cappy
kid.
needs a Lieutenant Weinberg who has no responsibilities here whatsoever, and that person is
Weinberg?
you.
Come on, let me at least be Kevin Bacon.
I mean, if you want to be smiling Jack Ross, you can go right ahead, but we can talk more about those characters in just a little bit. Before we get to that, please welcome our special guest, or excuse me, our next special guest who's going to be on this panel with us tonight. I'm here to meet with Lieutenant Commander Galloway. I mean, Willow Schuyler from Canada. Willow, welcome in. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me out.
Yeah, thank you for being here. How are you? How you been?
Doing good. Aside from being unemployed, but doing good.
Hey, listen, we've all been there, been in between jobs, looking for jobs in the want ads. It's hard, it's rough, it's a lot of work to do. But you know what? You're gonna find something. You're gonna land on your feet. You're gonna be just fine. And 2023, great things are in store for each and every single one of you who are watching this or listening to this special presentation right now. But aside from one of our friends here being unemployed. So aside from that, A Few Good Men, we are going to cue it up to the 3-second mark. So if you are just joining us and you want to watch the movie along with us, share your favorite thoughts, your favorite memories, all that kind of stuff, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends. We are going to be queuing it up to the 3-second mark, but we haven't started the movie yet, but feel free to watch it on a physical media or a streaming service. It is available on Vudu, Amazon Prime, and a few others. So please feel free to queue it up before we start. I want to go around the table here for just a moment here to give you an opportunity to get to know our panelists just a little bit better. Start with Matt Kearns. I mean, you're Lieutenant Weinberg. So, Kearns, do me a favor.
Yes.
Answer me this question. What were your expectations going in to see this movie for the first time, if you had any at all?
I had none. This is one of those cable channel surfing movies. What was it? AMC, I think it was.
Yep.
I saw it for the first time.
Yep.
My parents knew what it was, and so they're like, "Oh, this is a really good movie." So my brother and my parents, we all watched it together. And yeah, I believe if I'm not, it was AMC, and I think the first time I saw it was when, I don't think they do it anymore, but AMC used to do these movies where they called it story notes, and so there'd be like trivia that would pop up on the screen during the movie. Because I remember reading a lot of things while I was watching the movie, and yeah, I thought it was great. It was a movie that I kept coming back to. I got it right here.
I got the same special edition DVD as you.
And it's one of my favorite films right now. It sits at number 30. My list of favorite movies. It's one of my favorite Tom Cruise performances. I think it's a severely underrated one for him, like Rain Man. I think those two are, for some reason, when people talk about his performances, they don't talk about, and those are also two performances he didn't get nominated for. Great movie. Great movie.
But it seems like everybody else got nominated around him for it. Like,
not really. I was looking it up. Nicholson's the only one who got. Demi Moore didn't get nominated.
Nope. Which I'm surprised.
Kevin Pollak, JT
I think
Walsh.
Ryan got. I think Rob Reiner got nominated for best
director because Rob Reiner directed this.
Honestly, I think Jack Nicholson had the stolen, like the Academy Award stolen from him. Gene Hackman did a good job in Unforgiven, but I don't think I don't know. I'm sorry. This movie was so much better than Unforgiven.
I gotta disagree with you on
We may have to take Kearns and Willow to court.
Look, I may like this movie more than Unforgiven, and look, I love Jack Nicholson, but Gene Hackman Unforgiven is scary. And not saying Nicholson's not, but to me, I love Jack Nicholson, but which I know it's the character, he's just super loud, whereas Gene Hackman Unforgiven is so, there's only the moment at the end when Eastwood comes back that he like really gets loud and screamy. The rest of the time he is, I mean, the moment when he's dying and he's like, I just want to build a house.
Wow.
Like, I'm sorry.
No,
it's okay.
it's
We
okay.
have to take Kearns and Willow to court after this movie. We may have to, we're going to have a bit of a discussion about
Gene
this.
Hackman's like one of my favorite actors. So.
No, it's great. And I see where you're coming from. And I was just informed that, yes, Nicholson was indeed nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but he did unfortunately lose to Gene Hackman for Unforgiven. Now, I've seen both Unforgiven and A Few Good Men, so I can say this without hesitation. I would have given the award to Nicholson personally. I like Gene Hackman, but he's not really in the movie of Unforgiven all that much. I mean, he's in it. He plays a pivotal part, but he's not in it as much as Jack Nicholson was in A Few Good Men, but that's just me. But anyway, or maybe if you compare screen time, maybe we can talk about that later, but let's not fight. We're not here to fight. But Willow, we are here to discuss your thoughts. Did you have any not inclinations, that's a bad word. Did you have any expectations going in to see this movie, A Few Good Men, in the beginning?
I was 10 years old when this movie came out. So I think it was like as the years progressed, I managed to like watch it, rewatch it, fall in love with it over and over. And there's something new every time I watch it that I seem to either forget or like, you know, admire the fact that the script is really well written. Just everything about this movie is well done.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is personally. But yeah, for me personally, I remember watching this movie. I think I remember seeing bits and pieces of it on television at one point, and then I went ahead and rented it when renting was still a thing on DVD or whatever it was. And I remember watching this and I thought, this is a darn good movie. This is a legal thriller. This is a legal drama, and I like stuff like that. And the way it's written, the way it's acted. I mean, Aaron Sorkin, guy is razor sharp. Even if it's just a movie about talking heads, this movie works on so many different levels, and it's captivating, it's engrossing, it hooks you pretty much from the get. Because do you think I don't want to get into too many spoilers here for those of you who are unfamiliar with this film, but in this film, 2 teenage Marines are arrested and charged with murdering one of their own, and they need someone to come to their defense. And it comes to Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, and Kevin Pollak's characters, which we'll find out more about as the film progresses. But it's engrossing. It makes you think, what is it about duty and honor and, well, what's the code? Unit, Corps, God, Country, which we'll find out more about as this film goes on. There are endless things to quote about this movie, but I do not want to get into that because there's just too much to count. But for me, after watching this movie a couple of times on DVD or what have you, I love it. I think it's great. I can rewatch this any time of day, any time of year, and still enjoy the heck out of it because it's talking heads, but it's a legal thriller. It's got a sharp cast. It's got a sharp group of writers, and Aaron Sorkin's a boss. Rob Reiner has been directing films for years, and he's done a great job in his own right. I mean, Princess Bride, anybody? I mean, anything else? So
I actually misspoke about Rob Reiner. I just looked. He did not get a nomination for director for this.
I probably
and
should have.
Aaron Sorkin did not get a nomination for Best Adapted
People were
Screenplay.
snubbed. People were snubbed for this.
Oh yeah,
movie.
This movie was totally snubbed.
In my opinion, but that's just me. But we're gonna
but
watch.
They did win like other awards.
Yeah.
Like,
they got a lot of MTV movie awards.
Like those amount to
Tom Cruise won Most Desirable Man that year.
I don't think those awards really mean anything, but you know what? We're not here to debate what award means something and which award show does mean something. I don't know. That's up to you to decide.
Award shows don't really mean anything.
Thank you. Yes, I don't think some of the other.
They're bought and paid for.
Some of them are, yes. But with that being said, we don't want to take the, what do you call these things? Award shows to court, because otherwise we'd be here all decade. But what we are going to do is we're going to watch this movie. We are going to cue it up to the 3-second mark. I'm going to give you, the audience who are watching at home, and for those of us here on the panel, a countdown. We're going to watch the movie. We're going to comment on it. We're going to enjoy it. If you have any thoughts, if you have any memories, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. We're going to be bringing them up as we can. And in the meantime, enjoy this feature presentation as we celebrate the 30th anniversary of A Few Good Men in 3, 2, 1, play. Here we go.
We talk about 92. 92 was a great year for movies. You had
It was.
A Few Good Men. You had Aladdin,
Yep.
Unforgiven.
Unforgiven's a good film too.
You have Glengarry Glen Ross comes out. What else you got?
Oh, really?
Lethal Weapon 3 comes out. You got a lot just off the top of my head.
Wow,
Those are all
Glengarry Glen
92.
Ross came out that year?
Yep. And somehow Alec Baldwin is not nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
I'm here from Richmond, Murray. I'm here from downtown. What is it? Do you think they're going to come to you and get it? AIDA. Attention, interest, decision, action.
Second prize gets this
Do I have your
wonderful
attention?
set
I know
of
you do.
steak knives. And third prize is you get to keep your job. You know what?
Third prize
Mitch
is
and
your fire.
Murray asked me about you, and I said he's a loser. Fire him. Yo, when are we doing Glengarry Glen Ross?
Yeah, what movie are we watching again?
We can just stop after Alec Baldwin's scene and just walk away.
I know, seriously,
you don't
because
need to watch
that scene alone in Glengarry Glen Ross is so good.
It's so funny because, and I know this has nothing to do with Few Good Men, but we'll
No,
get
it
to it.
doesn't.
Like, that scene happened so early in that movie, and yet it's my favorite scene in Glengarry.
I agree. It's just my favorite
Alec
scene in the whole
Baldwin's
movie
scene.
too. That's like isn't that like a 2-hour movie, Glengarry Glen Ross? Yeah,
I think.
is it 2 hours or an hour and 45? One of the two.
Yeah.
But that scene alone was good. So we're opening up on the scene in Marine Barracks Windward, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And apparently a Marine is being attacked by 2 of his fellow Marines. I wonder why. Why is this happening to this young person? I'm not sure.
Colonel Dressler for hand at all.
Something like, I don't know what's going on. By the way, some people are chiming in the chat. I want to say hi to Dave Mattingly is here with us. He says, you want the film? You can't handle the film, says Dave Mattingly. Thank you so much for chiming in, Dave. Always good to see you, kind sir. He also says, are you aware that Kevin Bacon was not the opposing lawyer in the original screening? No, I didn't know that.
Wow.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
I have to say, that's something I love about Kevin Bacon's character in this movie is the fact that at no point is he painted as a bad guy.
Not
like,
really.
There's that scene between him and Tom Cruise and Demi Moore at the gym, and it's just like, you know, and then there's a scene at the bar between them, and it's just like, hey, look, we're lawyers. This is our jobs, but like, it's gonna come up, but you're a damn lousy softball player. Which I love the AMC story notes I remember in that scene, which just like, in his defense, we only have seen him playing basketball in the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say but anyway, it depends on the scene and the context. Also, Dave Mattingly is chiming in with some fun facts. And by the way, if you have any stories or fun facts that we should be aware of, let us know. Anything and everything A Few Good Men is what we're here to celebrate tonight. Dave Mattingly also says they filmed it with another actor in regards to the Kevin Bacon situation, but then brought in Bacon to reshoot all of his scenes, which is why so many of Bacon's scenes have just him or just him and one other person because the principal film and principal photography had already finished.
So talking about Demi Moore, she has spoken about that when she was auditioning for this movie, she was actually pregnant with her first child.
Was the first child, was it Rumor? Wasn't Rumor Willis, was it? Who am I thinking?
I know it was her and Bruce Willis's first kid.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, who was the first? Who was their first child?
She was afraid she wouldn't get the role because of that, because she's like, you know, she's like, I'm gonna have a baby. Are they gonna cast me in this? Demi Moore's great.
She's great in this movie.
This is one of those movies to where I can't really imagine. And look, there are a lot of great actors at the time, but like, I can't really imagine another, you know, set of actors doing this movie being as good as it is.
You know, like, I agree with you on the fact that this movie is great with all the actors, but in a way, I kind of feel like Tom Cruise's character should have been an older guy, maybe. But
the whole point of his character arc is he has to be a young guy because the whole thing is this is his first true case.
That is true.
Like, the journey is
he's known
like,
for
there's
plea
that
bargains.
scene where he's like, he looks around the courtroom and they're like, what? He's like, I've never been in a courtroom before. You know, because
there's a scene in the movie where he says, so this is what a courtroom looks like.
Because that's the whole journey of his character is you see, and we'll see it in his first scene at the softball field to where he just is like, all right, so we're going to do this and do that. All right. And so it needs to be, if it's an older guy, it wouldn't feel true.
We are now at the Judge Advocate Court, or Judge Advocate General Court in Washington, D.C.
And that's why you have Demi Moore. Demi Moore's the more seasoned
there's just
lawyer.
there's just a lot of like his confidence throughout the film just it speaks like he's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, but it's Tom Cruise. Like,
yeah, but he has to be young and brash and arrogant.
Yeah,
like,
there's
hey,
an
I got
arrogance
this
to
because
him.
I have a successful record of plea bargaining
It's-
cases. I can just get him done in like 4 days.
his arrogance in this is no different than his arrogance in Top Gun.
It's the same thing.
That's true.
You know, like,
Well,
it's a similar sort of role to Pete Mitchell. You know, to where it's just like, but in both cases, he's able to back up the arrogance. That's what's great about the characters.
Oh my goodness. Once again, Dave Mattingly coming in with the fun facts. He says the original actor who played the lawyer did a fine job, but the test audiences laughed every time he was put on screen. And Dave Mattingly says because that actor was actually Ed O'Neill, aka Al Bundy.
That's a shame. Ed O'Neill's a great actor.
Wow.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm glad they went with the recast because if it's Ed O'Neill, you don't get the friendship as much. You get more the seasoned adult lawyer coming up against the kid lawyer. Whereas here, it's like I said, it's two friends who are. It's just like, hey, we both got a job to do, and I think that works better.
Don't lump me in with Jessup just because we wear the same.
It's
uniform.
Also funny that you get two guys who really started their careers as teen actors. You got all the
look at them now; they're coming into their own as adults.
Going at it as well. So there's that fun thing as well.
Bit of a camaraderie there. And also Dave Mattingly chimes in. He says, my favorite actor in this film is actually Kevin Pollak. His role is understated, but he does such a fantastic job as you, Lieutenant Weinberg.
One of my favorite scenes in this movie, which is when he breaks down in front of Demi Moore and Tom Cruise. And he's just like, they bullied a weak kid.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Which we will get into a little bit later on in the film. I mean, I'm telling you, we can quote this movie from dawn until dusk here because we've seen it so many flipping times. I mean, there's so many quotable lines in this movie for sure. Not just the whole thing where people draw attention to. Well, if you think of A Few Good Men, all you think of are the words "You can't handle the truth." Well, there's a lot more to this movie than just that.
We'll talk about Tom Cruise. This is the second time he's played a Navy officer after Top Gun.
With Top Gun being the first in 1986. Yep. Thank you very much. Yes. And then let's see here. Dave Mattingly says, well, his comment went away there. Where was it? There it is. It's funny seeing David. Really? David Bowie or David Bowie? Who are you referring to? In uniform there? Was that one of the two officers that was just in the room? Let me know. I'm not sure where you're going with that one. But anyway, he says I know this actor best from UHF.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen that either. Sorry, Dave. I'm not familiar with that one.
Nope.
UHF is a Weird Al movie.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. Got it. Speaking of which, not to get off on granted, this show's already gone off the rails even before we even started watching the movie. But has anyone seen the Weird Al Yankovic biopic with Radcliffe?
I have not.
Yes, I have.
Is it any good? Is it an actual biopic or is it a parody of a biopic?
It's a parody of a biopic.
Okay, so it's not real. None of the
here,
stuff
Will,
that happens
this is
in the
what I
movie
was talking
is
about. This is where Cafferty starts. Is
Caffey?
Caffey. He starts just.
Yeah, he's
like
negotiating.
He doesn't care. He's just like
he doesn't really care. He's just plea bargaining.
Yeah.
And his, by the way, that actor there has been in a number of things. I can't remember his name, but he is a sharp actor. This one person who's opposing Dan Caffey's character played by Tom Cruise.
So, funny thing, Rob Reiner has talked about. One of the things he's proud of about this movie is that it's pretty timeless, except for the casual wear of the characters. It's too 90s. He feels. Everything else he thinks is timeless except for the casual wear. It's he's said it before.
But I mean, you get that with a lot of films that were filmed in like the 70s.
Well, John Appleton talked about this when he was talking about the music in Karate Kid, to where he's like, the movie's made in the 80s. You turn on a radio, 80s music is gonna play. You can't control that. You can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotcha. By the way, Dave Mattingly, I should say, has gone on to say he's referring to David Bowie, not David Bowie. And then he also goes on to say the Radcliffe Weird Al Yankovic film is a lot of fun. His real life story is so boring that he made something up. So there you go. He made it up. And then Dave Mattingly says, think of it as Spinal Tap with an accordion. Okay. I mean, if you want to go that route, Dave, there you go.
Now imagine if instead of Kevin Bacon, The opposing marine lawyer was Val Kilmer. How much better would this movie be?
Oh my gosh!
It'd be
If it were
Top Gun in a
Iceman,
courtroom.
Iceman versus Maverick in a courtroom, that would
Let's
have been
be honest. Val Kilmer never got to play a lawyer, but he would have been a damn good lawyer in his heyday of the '90s. He would have.
He had the right. He had the
he's
right
been
look
robbed
for
of
it.
so many
As always.
good roles,
He
and
was.
Yeah, it's a shame. He's fantastic.
By the way, this actor here in this boardroom scene, Xander Berkeley, he's done a number of different things over the years, including
Yeah, there's a lot of
24 with
character
Jack
actors
Bauer.
in
He
this.
was in a number of other films. He was on The X-Files. He was on some of the most popular films I think ever made. He was in some of them, including this one. So Xander Berkeley, very good actor. Feel free to look up his filmography on IMDb.com. This guy has done an incredible amount of work. He's a strong character actor, is Xander Berkeley right here. I'm just saying. And then this is another thing that happens throughout the film. Cappy never carries a pen. He never carries a pen. Is that 0600 in the morning, sir? 0600 in the morning. Oh, gosh. Moving up in the world, you've been requested by Division. Sir, I got a stack of papers on my desk a mile high. So what? Cappy will have this done in 4 days, doing various research stuff, backup, whatever. In other words, I have no responsibilities here whatsoever. Right. My kind of case.
Oh, Kevin Pollak. You're great. Love you, Kevin.
Some good little comedic beats there between Pollak and Cruz. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I think there are, but I think I'm wrong. Hey, feel free to correct me in the chat. This is one of the few movies where I actually see someone eating an apple on screen, because you hardly ever see that. The only other time I've seen somebody eat an apple on screen was Raphael and then a little indie film called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Does anyone remember that scene?
Wait, you forget the fact that Demhold Elliott in Raiders of the Lost Ark eats an apple?
Wait. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Which scene is that in?
Marcus. When Marcus.
Oh, you mean Mark? Marcus Brody.
Yeah, Demhold
Okay.
Elliott is the actor.
Yeah, but he doesn't actually eat it, does he?
Yes, he does. The kid brings the apple. And
Yeah, but
takes
he
a bite
puts it
out
on
of
his desk.
Yeah, and then he picks it up, wipes it on his sleeve, takes a bite, and then talks about the FBI, and then it ends with the, what do I want to talk to them about?
I don't remember Marcus actually biting into that apple. But then again,
I could be wrong. Maybe it's a Mandela effect. But you're the one who brought up the strange thing about people eating apples to begin with.
I know. Listen, if I'm going to bring up something about the movie, I got to bring up something. So I know I'm a strange
Let's be
person.
honest. Most times in movies, actors don't eat food because of continuity. It's hard.
Continuity, yeah.
Because if you eat food, that means every take you do, you're continually eating food.
Going back, I once had my driver's license suspended. You know, according to me, they're not going to need a lawyer. They're going to need a priest. No, they're going to need a lawyer. Dawson's closest living relative is Aunt Ginny, her aunt on his mother's side. Want me to give her a call? Sure. Anyway, I'm just quoting this movie verbatim because I have nothing better to do with my own life. But Dave Mattingly says, what is it, Star Trek 2 that Xander Berkeley was in?
No, yes, Kurt. They're all eating apples when they're on the...
oh, you mean Star Trek 2, he was eating an apple in the scene.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know what you're talking
Genesis
about.
Cave, which is why in Star Trek 09, Chris Pine, when he's on the Kobayashi Maru, takes a... Or in the scenario, he is eating an apple as a reference to when Kirk's talking about it.
Oh, by the
So
way,
there you go. There's two.
Dave Mattingly says Doctor Strange eats an apple in his movie. Okay. There you go. Fun facts about people eating
A Few Good Men
items on camera. Yeah, A Few Good Men. We're getting introduced to Lieutenant Commander Galloway here between her and Kathy. You know.
This is probably my favorite Demi Moore movie, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say?
I'm trying to think. What were the other? When people think of Demi Moore, some of the films that she's known for are not necessarily the best ones. I'm not going to say that one because I want to keep this family friendly. But is anyone familiar with the other films like Indecent Proposal or Disclosure or I don't know?
I'm not trying to be offend a wonderful actress, but most of the times I think about Demi Moore, I just think about how she's Bruce Willis's ex-wife.
Yeah, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. What else was she in? What was the? Oh, she was in the film that
G.I.
nobody saw
Jane.
called G.I. Jane.
Oh, we know that because of Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Well, listen, I was familiar with the G.I.
There's
Jane
the-
film long before the incident that happened at the Oscars occurred. I'm just saying.
Come on, guys, you're missing a big one that she did.
Oh, you mean the Ghost, right? Ghost.
Thank you.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah. She played the Swayze's wife. That's right.
In what?
In
Patrick
Ghost.
Swayze's wife in Ghost. Or no, it was his girlfriend. It was his girlfriend, not his wife.
Ghost. I need to because I.
You've
love
never seen the
Patrick
movie
Swayze.
Ghost?
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
that
one of those
movie
movies
is.
that's so in pop culture that I
think the
know
movie-
of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay, here's my thing about Ghost. It's a good movie, but it's not like one of the greatest. Some people think it's one of the better films of all time. I don't think necessarily that's true, but it is a good film. It got Whoopi Goldberg the Oscar for Best
Do you
Supporting
know
Actress.
why? Do you know why Patrick Swayze did Ghost?
Why?
Because he got injured doing Roadhouse, and after that he wanted to do a movie that had like no stunt work whatsoever, and so
Oh.
but scripted Ghost offered no stunt work really whatsoever, so that's why he did the movie. And
Wow.
talk about Whoopi Goldberg, he wanted her in that part so bad he told the studio, "If you don't cast her, I don't do this movie."
Wait, for this one?
No, for Ghost.
For back in 1990s Ghost. I'm sorry, I thought you meant something else.
Yep.
My bad.
And here he
Let's
is.
see, Dave Mattingly. Dave Mattingly says Demi Moore was featured in the film Ghost. By the way, Diane Cook is here. Hi, Diane. Good to see you too. She says she was in the movie Ghost and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, where she played the avenging
Demi Moore
angel
was
in that
also
movie.
in Striptease.
Yeah, that was the one I wasn't going to bring up because I
So
want to keep
here's,
this, I want to keep this presentation family friendly.
Here's
But
Hey,
Kiefer
she did a good
Sutherland.
job in that movie as well.
Here's Kiefer Sutherland, son of the original Hawkeye, Donald Sutherland. And future, the year after this, he'd star in the very underrated Three Musketeers film,
oh, I love that movie.
love.
I love that movie.
which he's fantastic. And I feel like most people know him. Well, no, I feel like now most people know him for Designated Survivor, but before that was 24.
He's
Where
very
most
young
people
in
know.
this. Look at Kiefer Sutherland. He's got the
Yeah,
crew cut and
he's
everything.
very, which is so weird because in Three Musketeers, and maybe it's just because they cast him next to
He had like
Chris
long
O'Donnell,
hair the following
but
year.
he looks older in which I know, I guess you can age in a year, but he looks older in Three Musketeers.
Yeah, he does.
Like, but again, I think that's also just like casting, because like here he's next to two older actors, so you just look younger, whereas he's with Chris O'Donnell, and who was like
Well,
a baby in that
hasn't
movie.
really he hasn't really changed much since his role, since one of his first roles was Lost Boys.
That's right. Yeah, Lost Boys. Yep. Talk about his dad. His dad, year prior to this, was in Backdraft.
Yeah.
I love Donald Sutherland. He's great, especially
Well,
Match. That's one of
let
my
me-
favorite movies ever. I love Match.
Well, speaking of the Sutherland family, have you seen the father-son film between Donald and Kiefer known as Forsaken? Have you ever
I
seen
have
that?
not.
It is
I have.
You have seen this movie?
I have seen
I
Forsaken.
will add it to
Forsaken?
my
several
list.
times.
Let me, Kearns, you got to write this one down,
Oh, it's
brother, because
Forsaken?
Forsaken is a great Western film that also co-stars Demi Moore as Kiefer Sutherland's
All right,
ex-wife.
that's 3 for the new year. I got to go and rent.
Okay, you really need to watch Forsaken. It's a 95-minute Western, but it's so good.
And thank you, Dave, for confirming my suspicions.
Yeah, he
Which
hasn't really
was-
aged much. And by the way, Dave Mattingly says Kiefer Sutherland must really be a vampire because he hasn't aged a day since the movie The Lost Boys from 1987. Has anyone seen The Lost Boys? Am I the only one who's seen it?
No, I've seen it.
I've
Okay.
seen it, yeah.
Because that's a fun movie, isn't it, Willow? That's a good vampire
It is good,
movie.
yeah.
That's a good movie.
Here's Jack Nicholson in one of his best villain roles.
Mm.
Not
Yeah,
his
we're-
best, but one of them.
We're introduced to Colonel Nathan Jessup here in this scene with Jack Nicholson, Kiefer Sutherland, and J.T. Walsh as the other commanding officer. By the way, Kiefer Sutherland he's a snake in this movie, but he's so good. He's so good at playing evil. A little bit of a sibling, because we're going to see this here in a moment, but Jessup and J.T. Walsh's character have a private meeting, and he says, "What do you think of Kendrick? Sir, I don't think my opinion has any... I think he's pretty much a weasel myself, but he's an awfully good officer." So It just works so well.
Well,
You know?
and what's great about Jessup is he's one of these villains who is operating under the guides that he's right. And you know, he's one of these old school, like he was probably in the Korean War, if not definitely Vietnam, and he's just been in the military since then. And he believes that everything he's doing is right. And those are the really good villains to where it's like you kind of have no sympathy for them because they're so just set in their ways that they're just like, no, I've done absolutely nothing wrong. Which is so funny because one of Jack Nicholson's early roles is One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest, to where he's going up against a villain like that with Nurse Ratched, to where she thinks she's doing nothing wrong and is operating under the guides that she's so good. So it's funny how, as they say in The Dark Knight, you either die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's Jack Nicholson's film career. He starts off as,
But I mean, he did such a good job
and then
in
Batman and A Few Good Men, or later on in his career.
Yeah, he did such a good job as the villain in The Shining that has been ingrained in everybody's head is the way he looks.
Yeah, but Jack Nicholson is more than just The Shining. He's a lot more than. I mean, look at us. He was a generation's Joker. Okay, so like, he's done more.
He
done a lot
still
more.
is
Anyway,
the best live action Joker, and my second favorite overall Joker. But Mark Hamill takes the cake as the best.
Wow. Okay.
Hamill,
these interesting takes from our good friend Matt Kearns here on the show are just red hot.
Because here's the thing: Joker's supposed to be funny. Mark Hamill's the funniest Joker, but he's also scary.
He's evil as all get out,
scary.
which I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
By the way, that ranking that you just gave us, I don't necessarily disagree with that because, well, Heath Ledger was great too. So he was the devilish, like, anarchy Joker, which terrified me back in 2008. Terrified me, still does to this day. But aside from Joker ratings, because we're not talking about that, what I will say is I want to say welcome if you were just joining us. We are celebrating the 30th anniversary, or at least we're trying to, of A Few Good Men, directed by Rob Reiner, starring Tom Cruise and company. We are at the 22-minute and 23-second mark in the film. Just to give you a timestamp, if you're just joining us, feel free to queue up your copy on the streaming service or physical media. Watch the movie along with us. Share your favorite memories. Share your thoughts and feelings about A Few Good Men in the comments, in the chat. And don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends. And I want to say welcome once again to you who are just joining us. Welcome to Matt. Welcome to Willow. Also want to acknowledge all the people who have chimed in the chat. Dave Mattingly, you're something else here, Dave, because Dave says, a friend of mine was featured in the film known as Ghost. He was a dark spirit at that point. Interesting. And then Diane is here with us. She also goes on to say, I have seen the Lost Boys film. I love the 1980s pop culture portrayed in that film. It's 35 years old, same age as me and Ryan. Yes, you just gave away my age for the 50th time this year. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm just a 35-year-old man. Anyway, Dave Mattingly says, you want me on this call. You need me on this call. And then Dave, you're something else, man. You really are. And then he says, I'm all behind the Mark Hamill as being the best Joker when it comes to your rankings there, Kearns.
The first of the Yoo-hoo moments, which we come to find is Kathy's go-to beverage choice in this film. Cocoa Puffs and Yoo-hoo. That's all he has in his refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. And then Diane gives us a laughing emoji just because she's laughing at us. Thank you, Diane, for laughing at our horrible jokes. Or maybe just laughing at our age range. I don't know, whatever the heck it is. Wow. There's something aroused, Commander. Anyway. So it seems that Lieutenant Commander Galloway is not really happy with how Kathy is handling this case.
Oh, she just handed him his ass on the platter.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
And he's like not affected whatsoever. Like
he doesn't really seem. Does it seem to me that he doesn't really care? He doesn't really care, Kearns. His character doesn't. But... Oh, I see. It had to be Professor Plum in the library with the candlestick. That's a reference to Clue, in case anyone's wondering. Which, by the way, Kearns, anytime I think of the word Clue, the first thing that comes to mind is all the scenes involving Wadsworth explaining all the murders.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Clue with Tim Curry?
No.
Okay, again, write this one down. Can you write it down, please? Because it's kind of an important comedy film. It's based on the board game, man. It's one of the few video game / game adaptations that's actually good.
I like how Kathy thinks he's like, oh, well, I got to sign this because someone thinks I'm really good. To whereas the film goes on, you realize, no, he got to sign this because they wanted this to be swept under the rug. So they're like, well, let's get the guy who's never gone to court and just does plea deals. That's how we get rid of this fast. Because, of course...
That's why Demi Moore's character is so good in this, is because she has no fear of saying.
She realizes what's going on before Cruz and Pollock do.
Yeah,
it takes them a while to realize that they're like, oh, this is not a simple case.
Kearns, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're being taken to court in the chat box because Dave Mattingly says, I saw Clue in the theaters when it had multiple random endings. And then he also goes on to say, I strenuously object to Matt Kearns not seeing Clue.
Well, I'm going to have to say overruled since
no.
absolutely
I'm among the category of judging people for the role they first saw Tim Curry in.
That would be the role I first saw Tim Curry in is probably Concierge in Home Alone 2.
Dude, that movie is so funny because of Tim Curry.
Yeah.
That movie
is lovely
nothing.
Day.
That movie is nothing without Tim Curry.
What kind of idiots you have running this place? The finest in New York. I love you.
The finest in New York.
I was planning on watching the Home Alone movies tomorrow since I haven't done them yet. Can do a double feature.
You gonna do it?
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Are you gonna
post those? Are you gonna post the movies? Because you've been doing it a lot lately on your Twitter feed.
Oh, I always post when I watch movies on my Twitter feed. But yeah,
okay.
No, yeah, Home Alone is 92 as well. Adding once again.
Yep, that movie turned 30 a few weeks ago, actually. Of Home Alone 2 is what I'm referring to. It turned 30 a few weeks ago. Did you know that, Willow?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Doesn't it just make you feel so much younger than we already are?
Willow's like,
I feel so old.
She's like the guy from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I know I'm old when my back goes out when I sneeze. So.
Oh, really? Jeez. I didn't know it was that big of an ordeal.
Just wait. 40's not fun.
No, it's not. By the way, Diane goes on to say...
I do not recommend getting old, everyone. Try
to stay young as best you can. By the way, Diane says, it sounds like Ryan needs to host a watch-along of Flu. Well, I can't really do that until it's an anniversary, Diane, so we're going to have to put that on the ideas for future movie anniversary watch-along videos in our list. And by the way, she also says, that's a great impression of Tim Curry there, guys. Thanks, Diane. We try. Oh, here, Diane, one more time. Hey, Kearns, here's Tim Curry for you. Have a lovely day.
Have a lovely day.
There you go. So you're welcome. You're welcome. By the way, Dave Vanley says, Enchanté. The role I first saw Tim Curry in was not indeed the movie Clue, but Clue has become a movie I am most associated with. By the way, Dave goes on to say, Willow, you feel so old? I was already married when Ryan was born. Wow. That's okay. That's going back a ways.
God, country. Unit, core.
What's the code? Unit, core, country. God, country. So, the government of the United States wants to charge you two with murder, and you want me to go to the prosecutor with unit, core, God, country? That's our code, sir. It's your code. We'll be back.
It also just goes to show you the difference between Pollock and Cruz, who, while technically they are in the Navy, they're lawyers, whereas these two guys are actual soldiers, and how different that is, even though it's like you are both serving in the armed forces, but you two are lawyers. We work on Guantanamo Bay. Over a wall, there's a bunch of people who want to kill us.
Yeah, there you go. And now we're going to be introduced to smiling Jack Ross, played by 6 Degrees of Separation, also known as 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, because this guy has been in so many different TV shows and movies that you can find multiple actors and actresses who have worked with him.
Watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. If not, he's wonderful in it.
Does he have a minor role or a pivotal one?
Oh, what? And he has a very pivotal role in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Doesn't Star-Lord kind of keep saying you got to watch Kevin Bacon movies, and then he like shows up halfway through?
There's a reason why he's in it. I won't spoil it. So this is looks like Kevin Bacon kept the same haircut he had in JFK from the previous year. Which that's another great movie, JFK. Love that movie.
You know, I still haven't seen that movie.
That's a great. It's a good one.
All I know about that movie is there's back
movies.
and to the left, back and to the left. That's all I know about JFK.
It's a good one. It's yeah.
I know Newman's in it. Wayne Knight's
one of
in
John Williams' best scores is.
He
JFK.
scored that movie?
Yep.
Wow.
Oliver Stone.
I didn't know that, Kearns. I'm gonna have to watch JFK. I think it's streaming somewhere. I think it's HBO Max or Netflix. I gotta look that up.
If it's streaming, find it because it's a goodie.
Let us know if that film is streaming anywhere, since we're talking about A Few Good Men and very.
Yeah, I own a Canadian Blu-ray because the only way to get a Blu-ray in America is a giant, expensive commemorative set. So because it's region 1, so it'll work on our player. So I bought a Canadian version of it.
By the way, Dave Mattingly says, "Look out, Kevin! Drax is right behind you."
Oh,
must be. That's the Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's on HBO Max.
Woo! That means I get to watch it whenever. I'll watch it at some point. It's gonna happen.
It's a long movie.
It is. It's like a 3.5-hour movie, isn't it?
But it's, for me at least, it's one of those 3-hour movies like Braveheart to where I like never feel the length of it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look this. Watch this movie at some point. And the hits just keep on coming. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. By the way, this has a good soundtrack too.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, has anyone noticed that? It's a good soundtrack and a good score too.
Great score. Yep.
Isn't wait, who performs this? Is it James Horner?
I don't know who did the score for this one.
If anyone knows who did the score, let me know. I'd be curious because I think it was James Horner, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I think it was Hans Zimmer. Was it Hans Zimmer?
Yeah,
One or the other.
I wasn't paying attention to the opening credits. It probably should have been.
Excuse me. Dave has a question. Wasn't that the Back to the Future town square that we just saw a moment ago?
I'm gonna say no, since this is a Columbia Pictures movie, and I mean, you can use.
People use different sets. But...
So, fun thing about this scene is Rob Reiner. Since most of this movie is in courtrooms, he calls this their action scene. Is him and Kevin Pollak just walking around? He's like, "This is our action scene."
Really?
Yeah, because he's like, most of the movie is just in a courtroom, so two guys just walking through a town. It's their
walking through town with a stroller that has a child in it.
Yeah.
So... Sam's child, by the way, in the movie, in the context of the movie, it is.
And a wonderfully shot movie too. I love the fall aesthetic of
I like it too.
Place.
I like the way the film looks. I like the way it was. It's very well put together. It really is.
Especially when we get to later on in the movie when Kathy shows up drunk. That whole stuff in the rain is fantastic as well.
Yeah. Which we'll find out a little bit more about.
And this is one of those movies. I know Tom Cruise gets flack as an actor, but these are the type of movies that really show how good of an actor he is. That he's not just I know most people, the Mission Impossible movies and Top Gun Maverick, he's a great action movie guy, but he's also a great actor. The problem is just the Academy and other awards places never really properly recognized him, and so he was like, fine, I'll just make Mission Impossible movies. I don't care.
Yeah. Although he did give a pretty
I hope he gets nominated for Top Gun Maverick. It's probably not going to happen, but I would love it if he got nominated.
No, I don't think that movie did get nominated.
Well, the nominations haven't come out yet.
The announcements haven't been made as of yet, but
I'm hoping.
But
be great, but probably won't because
Well, it is for me. It is one of the best movies that came out this year. So
it should get nominated for Best Picture, but at this point, I don't know if they count.
But then again, I haven't
Aren't they going to give the Oscar nominations to Avatar 2: The Way of Water?
I hope not.
You
They're going to give it the visual. They're going to give it the visual effects award. Which, by the way, James
I'm not even
Cameron,
seeing Avatar 2.
I have no interest. And by the way, James Cameron, I know you're watching this in the comfort of your $500 million mansion in Beverly Hills, but why did you have to make 3 sequels to Avatar that nobody asked for? Honestly,
because Avatar made like $1 billion.
Yeah, but that was 13 years ago.
You don't care. Oh, and here's the stupidity of Kathy showing up in dress whites.
In the wrong. And by the way, this is a young, very young, up and coming Noah Wyle in this scene. Who's driving the Jeep here in this scene? Can you believe Noah Wile's in this? I mean, this is crazy. This guy was in ER for 15 years. He was in Falling Skies. He's been in a number of other films. Heck, one of the movies that was on earlier today on television, he was in a movie called Enough with Bill Campbell, speaking of Rocketeer, and Jennifer Lopez.
That's a Rocketeer. It's a great movie.
Yeah. So Noah Wyle.
Oh, I love this moment. You're in the Navy, for God's sake.
Nobody likes her very much. Yes, sir. Sorry, I had to go there. Dave Mattingly also says, my favorite Cruise movies are A Few Good Men and The Firm. He does a great lawyer in The Firm. Okay.
That's a matte painting. It's not a real shot of boats on the water. It's a matte painting.
Valid point. Dave Mattingly is yelling at the screen. He's saying, Noah Wyle! Yes, it is Noah Wyle that was in that scene a moment ago. For those of you who just joined us, we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of a great film known as A Few Good Men. We are at the 36-minute and 40-second mark here in the film. If you are just joining us, please feel free to queue up your copy on your streaming service or physical media. Watch the movie along with us, with our panelists, Matt, Willow, Ryan. I'm the host here, myself. And feel free to share your thoughts, your feelings, what you liked about this movie, what you didn't like about this movie, some of the things you like about this film, any memories you may have of it, or fun facts you would like to share with us. Let us know in the chat. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends, because once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to throw the biggest party that YouTube has ever seen, and we're also going to have special giveaways just for you. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, because once we hit the big 1,000, we're going to celebrate with some live streams with some previous guests who are going to be joining us, and some very special giveaways that you could possibly win.
Can you tell me when we get to the 40-minute mark? Because I think I was behind you guys for a while. So when we hit the 40 minute
right now we're at the 37-minute and 38-second mark, but yeah.
Yeah, just tell me when we hit the 40-minute mark.
Okay, no problem.
Because I'm paused at 40. And if I start jumping around, I'll miss and be behind again.
It's okay.
The fun things of doing Watchalongs.
It's what we're here for. By the way, Dave Mattingly says, my favorite Noah Wyle performance is the Librarian series. Okay, that's fair. And
you can catch our conversation with Noah Wyle on the on the rerun of a multiverse fundraiser conversation on our YouTube.
That was a great interview those guys did. That was fantastic.
They did amazing.
I didn't know how big of a nerd that Noah Wyle was until he started talking about his collection of props that he collected from all the performances he had on television and movies. He takes like a prop or two from each set that he's on, and he keeps it in his background of his home, which you can see in that interview, which, by the way, that's on the Multiverse fundraiser, which we will talk more about at the end of the show. But Noah Wile's a giant nerd, fellas. Like he is ensconced in nerdom.
I'm still shocked that we had him and a bunch of other great actors and voice actors and authors. I'm still geeking out over the fact that who we got for this coming year. So
yeah, which we will talk more about at the end of the show. Willow, I know you're anxious and you're very excited, but we have to save that for the end of the show because we got to focus on the subject matter at hand.
And Tom Cruise. Let's see if they got, guys. Spoilers. That's why we're doing A Few Good Men.
No, Tom Cruise is not one of our guests.
Look, Ryan, I will come on Nerd Culture, and I will talk to you about the films I've done and performances I've given.
Something like that, yes. By the way, Dave Mattingly says James Marshall, who plays Downey's character, had a big role in the Twin Peaks series. Oh, you mean James T. Marshall. I gotcha. Oh, James Marshall plays Private Downey. Okay, now I know what you're saying. Okay, I gotcha. That's pretty cool. By the way, Dave Mattingly says Victor Garber is going to be at the fundraiser. He's one of our guests that I'm most looking forward to. Well, guess what, Dave? I get to moderate that panel. That's right, me, sitting in the same virtual studio as Victor freaking Garber. That's right. Spoilers. That's what's going to happen. We'll talk more about that at the end of the show, though. Sorry, Willow. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Sorry. He asked. I mean, he put it in the chat. So. Sorry, Dave. I just had to acknowledge that for just one quick second, but we need to focus on the movie here. Which, by the way, we were at the 40-minute and 23-second mark here, Kearns. When they're sitting at the table. I got to ask you some questions. Shoot. On the night of September 6th, you had a meeting with your platoon commander, Lieutenant Kendrick, and so-and-so and so-and-so. Yes. See where we are, Kearns?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. By the way, Dave says I'm just going to need a copy of the transfer order.
Yeah, so they're at the table. Okay.
Which we're about to get to here in a moment, Dave. Man, you're jumping ahead of us here, brother. Just relax, brother.
I sit 500 yards away from Cuban soldiers who want to kill me. Rob Reiner had said that part of the reason why later on in the movie Tom Cruise does the Nicholson impression on that line is because everybody was doing Jack Nicholson impressions on the set.
Yep. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Rob Reiner, one of the most successful actors turned directors, I'd say, along with Ron Howard. Kind of a contemporary of his when it comes to Happy Days, I think, was in its later years when All in the Family started, so they were kind of contemporaries in that, and then they both switched over very successfully into directing. And are also both considered two of the nicest directors. Not many people have bad things to say about Rob Reiner or Ron Howard.
Wasn't Ron Howard's first film Splash with Tom Hanks?
I believe so.
That's a fun romantic comedy. Have you seen that?
He also directed my favorite fantasy film, Willow.
Have you seen Splash though?
No, I have not actually.
Jeez, man.
But
how much homework are we going to have to give you for 2023?
So I don't want to watch it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Splash is available to stream on Disney Plus. Which, by the way, hashtag not sponsored.
What are you doing, Disney?
Yeah.
Everyone lost their minds over that.
What'd you say, Kearns?
On Disney Plus, they have Splash, but they edited the movie and they just made her hair longer.
No, they actually edit movies on Disney Plus. Come on.
Are you surprised?
Do I want Disney Plus now, guys? Is that something
it's got a lot of great content on there, including some of the newer Star Wars series.
What is it?
Well, if they edit movies, then what's the fun in having a streaming service?
Well, okay, edit in that they digitally.
It's one scene though. It's not like they edited the whole film,
so that you can't see their buttons.
Yeah, they just edited it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl Hannah's, excuse me, not to get on a tangent here. We want to keep this family friendly, but Daryl Hannah's, her behind is showing in the movie Splash, and the Disney Plus executives thought, you know what? If we're going to show this to potentially kids, we don't want them to see this. So we're going to make her hair longer in this scene, which, by the way, that takes place within like the 20-minute mark of the movie. Maybe the 30-minute mark, I don't know. But that happens early on in the film. It doesn't ruin the movie, Willow. It just changes. It barely makes a dent in the film. So, Willow, if you're still thinking about it, I would say still go for it because there are some really good things on Disney Plus. I mean, for perfect example, Kearns, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but I finally got around to sitting down one day and I watched a little Disney film that I've never seen before, but it came out way back when. The Sword in the Stone.
Oh, one of my favorites.
I watched The Sword in the Stone the other day, and you know what I realized? I realized that after watching The Sword in the Stone, which, by the way, I'm all for a retelling or an adaptation of the story of how Arthur becomes King Arthur, whatever it is. But the movie was really more about Merlin's greatest freaking hits.
You want a good movie about Arthur becoming king? That
bothered me.
Watch the epic from 1981, Excalibur.
Who's in that movie? Is anybody I know in that
Liam
movie?
Neeson.
Wait a minute, Liam Neeson is in it?
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart is in it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm watching that.
It's Liam Neeson's first movie. It's Excalibur. He plays
I'm
Arthur's
watching it.
nephew.
I'm watching it.
Brilliant movie.
Okay, well, I'm going to watch it then. So you've convinced me. You win.
I love Kathy because
I need a copy of the transfer.
Even going up against Jack Nicholson, he doesn't care. Need a copy of that.
I just see a copy of the transfer order for the file. Yeah. You don't understand, Kathy, that I'm here to help you in any way I can.
Help you.
Any way I can.
That, Kathy. Kathy, you are number one.
By the way, Dave Mattingly, I don't know. I was not aware of this. And by the way, Dave, I've never heard of this movie. Maybe Kearns has. I don't know. Daryl Hannah's backside can also be featured in Steve Martin's film L.A. Story.
Never seen it.
I can also add to that another movie that Daryl Hannah is in.
Blade Runner?
A lot of Daryl Hannah is in.
Is it Blade?
Blue Iguana.
What is
Blade
it?
Runner is not wrong too.
Yeah, Blue Iguana. Wow.
Lagoon?
Do you mean the Blue Lagoon?
Iguana.
Iguana?
Oh, Blue Iguana.
The Blue Iguana.
Blue
Sorry.
Never
Lagoon.
heard of it.
Who's in that one? Oh,
Blue
Anyone else in
Lagoon
that movie?
was
what's her face?
What's the person's name? Someone's got to Google
Brooke
this
Shields.
back there.
Isn't that
It's
Brooke
called the
Thank
Blue.
you.
Blue Lagoon. It's Brooke Shields.
Oh, it was Brooke
slow
Shields.
down.
Thank
Put me
you.
up. Too soon.
Brooke Shields is in it.
I believe so.
Blue Lagoon.
Could be
Is it?
I
Was
don't
it
claim
Blue
to know
Iguana?
Brooke Shields film. Let me see.
Jeez. Anyone
Sorry.
else? No, that's okay.
Looking this
I mean,
up.
I may have to look this film up later. I don't know what's going on.
I'm referencing
no.
a different movie. I'm so sorry, guys.
I'm sorry.
Is it the
Brooke
Blue
Shields
Lagoon?
is in Blue Lagoon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Blue Lagoon. But okay, there is definitely a movie with Daryl Hannah and that she plays a stripper in it. So it's
Wow. Okay, we're getting really uncensored
Wow.
here on this show.
Ooh.
Is it?
Oh,
Listen,
there
if
we
anyone's
go.
going to know the answer to this question, Dave Mattingly, if you have any information regarding certain actors and actresses that
Kathy
are
and
featured in
his
other
Louisville
films that are not
Slugger.
A Few Good Men, let us
can't-
know in the chat.
He can't think without his baseball bat in his hand.
Which, that's just a characteristic of the character. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
By the way, we're at the 40. What am I looking at here? We're at the about the 47-minute mark in this movie. Do you have any thoughts? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. This has been a heck of a show so far, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed this special presentation of the 30th anniversary of A Few Good Men, even though Kearns, Willow, and I have gone off the rails 30 times in the last 45 minutes. By the way, Downey's closest living relative, Aunt Ginny, her aunt on his mother's side, she signed over the papers an hour ago. I think it's too. I hope it's too much to imagine that you're not doing this just to bother me. I don't think your clients murdered anyone. So it looks like Lieutenant Commander Galloway is going to be co-counsel on this case because Downey just signed over the papers. Let's go. All right. Didn't Lieutenant Kendrick order a code red? Were you given a code red? Yes, sir. You mind telling me why you didn't mention this before? You didn't ask us, sir. Man, Cappy's just trying to get this case done and over with because he really just doesn't care about anybody. He just wants to get the job done and get paid.
So, interesting thing about the end of this scene is Kathy talks about how they don't salute an officer.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you don't have to salute an officer if they're in casual wear, only if they're in uniform. So, technically, they did nothing wrong here.
Oh, okay.
Kathy's in his casual wear, not in his uniform.
Well, you know how Hollywood is, Kearns. They like to take creative liberties with stories and certain elements of storylines. You know, but I get what you're saying, though, and thank you for bringing that up. That's correct, ma'am. Then we left the platoon and went to our room.
Nope.
He came about 15 minutes after the meeting broke, sir. About 16:20. Lieutenant Kendrick ordered us to give Santiago a code red. Does anyone else know what a code red is?
Yes, it's my favorite flavor of Mountain Dew.
What about you, Willow? What's your favorite flavor of Mountain Dew?
I'm gonna go with the regular one.
You mean the Mountain Dew straight up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not my favorite pop, but
What's your favorite pop, though?
Dr. Pepper.
You know, the best thing about meeting the president is the food. But, you know, I wasn't hungry but thirsty. Number two, they was free. I must have drank myself $15.
So I again, talking about cinematography, I love this scene when they're in the hallway, just how
Because of
it's
the lighting.
lit. with the light over the top of them.
Yeah. Why did Markinson go away? You don't think I could subpoena Markinson? You would. You can't. You can try, but you won't find him. You know what he did for 17 of his 26 years in the Corps? Counterintelligence. Markinson's gone. There is no Markinson. By the way, Willow, I'm sorry if the quoting of this film is bothering you. I can stop at any point.
No. Sorry, I'm just. I'm
You look like you're really
something
deep
up.
in
I'm
thought
sorry.
there in your studio.
Oh, I thought you were just intently watching the movie.
Yeah, I
fun
thought Willow was
story.
just intently
Fun
watching
story.
the movie.
Back on
My brain is working. I can't when my brain's
So,
working. I can't control.
funny
my facial
story.
features.
Back on Take 3 Productions, one of our first
Sure.
watch-alongs was on this movie.
Oh, it was?
And yeah, me and the two other panelists, Jacob and Evan, at a certain point, we realized that we stopped talking because we were just watching A Few Good Men. And then we're like, oh, we should probably be talking. Because it's just one of those movies you just get really into. It's just a good movie.
That is very true.
Okay, so this is the scene. I was in the wrong scene. This is the scene when they don't salute him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
After he
"Aren't
makes
you
them the
supposed to
offer.
salute an officer?" And technically, they're not wrong.
Man, Dave's jumping ahead a few scenes. He says, I could be Markinson. Are you? No. I'm not Markinson. That's 2 down. Sorry, can't help myself. Nice work there, Dave. I'm afraid we can't do that, sir. Do what? Make a deal,
So
sir.
that is the question to the panel. Where do you lie on what happened? Did they do something wrong, or you know, do you think like Pollock, were they just picking on someone? Were they just unfortunately following orders, or should they have, like what the court case decides, they should have stood up for their fellow Marine? Where do you guys lie on this?
I think Marines should stick up for each other.
Mhm.
I agree. I think the result of the case is the true one, which is it's like, well, yes, you were given this order. You should have protected your fellow Marine. You shouldn't have blindly gone in and done this. You should have stood your ground and said no.
They called the ambulance, Jack. I don't care if they called the leave off.
This
They
movie.
killed him.
And now, this is the thing. This
You-
is one of my favorite ending scenes in a movie, and I'm just thinking about it, and I may tear up because I love the end of this movie so much. The music, oh man! Once again, great.
That's the weird thing about this movie is, you know, Marines have a code where, you know, you don't leave a fellow behind, your brother behind.
My
you know,
brother-in-law
and-
is a former Marine,
Mhm.
veteran Marine, actually.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, wow.
so yeah.
Okay.
So,
Much respect, by the way, and for those of you who do serve in the armed forces, thank you for your service.
yes, nothing but respect. My
Mhm.
grandfather, World War II veteran, the Merchant
Wow.
Marines.
Wow.
I got quite a few in my family now.
Hmm.
Yeah, my uncle was actually in the Navy.
Hmm.
So
Wow. My brother's
he was an actual sailor. So
my brother's best friend was in the Marine Corps. So, yep. So we do have some connections here and there to the armed forces. And once again, thank you to all of you who have served, past, present, and future. Thank you all. You really don't like me, do you? Forget it. Don't answer that. Sorry, I'm quoting Kathy. I just can't. That's what happens when
is
you've
Kathy
seen this
your
movie.
favorite Tom Cruise character?
I mean, this is definitely one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. It's probably my. If I had to rate, when it comes to like performance-wise, like serious
performance-wise,
acting chops, this is probably my favorite Tom Cruise performance. But like overall, I think my favorite Tom Cruise performance is either MI3 or I don't know. I really like Ghost Protocol.
I think if we're talking pure acting, this is top 3. With the
Oh, yeah.
other
I mean,
two,
when it comes to
the
Cruise,
other
it's
two
probably
for
my
me
favorite.
being Jerry Maguire and Rain Man. I think are my other two.
Jerry
for favorite.
Maguire. Rain Man was.
Dude,
Rain Man was
Rayman was fantastic.
Watch Jerry Maguire again. That moment after when Renee Zellweger says, "Let's treat this next business trip as what it is," when he is looking at Ray and then goes to the fish and he's like, "It was just a mission statement." Like there's so much subtlety in his performance in Jerry Maguire. And it's a shame the Academy gave it to a movie that I bet you no one's even seen
Which one was
since
it?
it came out. Exactly.
Well, which
The
one
English
was it?
Patient.
Oh my gosh.
They gave
Dude,
it
that
to
movie.
what's his name? Voldemort.
You mean
For
Ray
English
Fiennes?
Patient.
Ray
Ray
Fiennes.
Fiennes for
Ray
English
Fiennes.
Patient.
Ray
And
Fiennes.
they
Which, by
really
the way,
should have
Ray
given
Fiennes
it
is a great
to-
actor, but dude, that whole English Patient thing, that movie is not anywhere near good. It's not a very good. It's not a good movie at all, really. It's never mind. You know how they make fun of that in Seinfeld? It's so good. The way they make fun of that movie in Seinfeld is great. Feel free to look up that episode if you ever get a chance. But I will say this: Dave Mattingly chimes in about A Few Good Men and some other things that are related to it. He says, "My dad was in the Navy, my brother was a Marine, and I just worked for NASA, Homeland Security, and even the NSA." Wow, it's a lot of history there, Dave. Let's see here. Okay, Kearns had to take a bit of a moment to collect himself. He should be back soon. But even so, let's see. Where are we in the movie here? We're at the 55-minute and 50-second mark of this movie. Feel free to join us. If you just joined us, we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of A Few Good Men. Feel free to queue up your copy on a physical media or a streaming service. Watch the movie. Share your thoughts and feelings about it with us. Anything and everything A Few Good Men is fair game tonight. Thank you once again to all the people who have chimed in. Sorry, my thoughts got a little missed there. Thank you to all the people who have chimed into the chat so far. Thank you to our panelists for being here. And make sure you like and share this video with all of your closest friends.
Dave Mattingly, I have no problems with your resume.
No, yeah, my resume pales in comparison. No, it doesn't. It's a great resume, I might add.
So I know I missed it, but did you guys recognize who was sitting at the bar? Aaron Sorkin, the screenplay writer, was the guy.
Oh, was that the one chatting with that woman while Kathy was thinking about it?
Aaron Sorkin. Yep.
Didn't know that. That's a fun fact. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Love Aaron Sorkin. Great writer. Moneyball is another one of my favorites of his. So, fun thing about this courtroom is this is a civilian courtroom. And the reason why they used the civilian one, they were originally going to use an actual Navy one, but Rob Reiner and the production designer went to one and they were like, it looks kind of plain. The civilian one looks better. Let's use the civilian court. Which, this... Yeah, I love this movie.
There's some really good scenes, like not just really good scenes, but some really good quotes in here, and like not just the main one that everybody references, but
and again, that's Aaron Sorkin is just like one of the best writers ever. You know, his dialogue is just superb, and you have, you know, a who's who of 90s actors delivering it with an incredible director, you know. Like, with all these factors, like, Rob Reiner would have had to try to make a bad movie. With Sorkin's script, all these actors, like, he would have had to intentionally make this movie bad. Cocoa Puffs? That's a good trivia question. What is the only thing Kathy has in his refrigerator? This is what a courtroom looks like. Love it.
You know, it can't get a better movie where you see, you know, Tom Cruise brooding.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin Pollak, not to the same extent, but another one of those like Robin Williams comedians turned dramatic actors that he's like I
He
said.
hasn't had enough of these kind of movies.
No,
though.
they really.
I really
and
wish that there would have
look,
been
we're
more.
gonna get to that scene coming up, but that moment when he's like, they harassed a kid, a weaker kid, like, and what I like is when you watch the movie again after seeing that scene, you go back and you see how much he's holding back because he's thinking that through all this, he's thinking like they harassed a kid for no reason because he was smaller and weaker. Yeah. Demi Moore in a super 90s outfit. Rob Reiner, I'm trying to remember. I believe it's Rob Reiner or Aaron Sorkin said that line was supposed to be funny, but in all the screenings I went to, no one laughed when Kevin Pollak said "Kung Pao chicken." Do you have any Kung Pao chicken? Which that's if you're any sort of creative type and you have moments of comedy, that's the worst thing when no one laughs.
I apologize, Dave. I cannot access. I can't put your comments on the screen, but I totally agree with you on the Pollak is also known for The Usual Suspects, a movie with also featured as Kobayashi. You mean other than the yeah? But
right.
yeah, it's Pollak is such a good actor.
Oh yes, and a great comedian too. He's super
he is.
funny.
I just
you want to laugh? Look up his William Shatner talking about Star Trek 5. Fantastic.
Dave Manley also says Yoo-hoo only has chocolate these days. They used to also have coconut milk. And then Pollak is well known for The Usual Suspects, a movie which also has a Kobayashi Maru. And then he says, "You mean other than the dead body?" Dang it! I walk into that every gosh darn time. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing the lines because I don't want to, keep this family friendly as best I can for this show. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. I'll see you in court.
Sorkin referencing another Broadway play with that line.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
You're a good man. Yeah, that's right. I should have known. We performed that musical at my high school. Look. He does think better with that bat. Man, Dave is just jumping all around the movie.
So the question we have to ask in every Tom Cruise movie when we're looking at scenes like this, is Tom Cruise actually taller than Demi Moore, or is she standing in a hole right now? Because in Jerry Maguire, Renee Zellweger is standing in a hole when they have scenes together sometimes.
Really? Yeah. Huh. I didn't know about that.
It's like how Carrie Fisher is so much shorter than Han Solo in scenes of them in the Empire Strikes Back. She has to stand on an apple crate so they can actually be together in the camera. The fun things of movie making.
Is this the only scene in the movie where Demi Moore's hair is out of place?
Yeah, she's got the one like little.
Strand.
She's in casual wear, so she lets a freak flag fly with that one thing of hair.
I'm sorry. It's just like every time I put my hair up, by the end of the day, my hair's just like.
Well, you're also not in a very expensive movie with a good hair and makeup budget, I assume, to make sure her hair
I'm
stays
sure my
well.
hair would still find a way to get out of place.
I assume you'd be older.
By the way, Dave Mattingly says Tom Cruise isn't taller than anyone.
That's a little mean. He's taller than some people.
He's as taller as me. He's not that short.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is taller than me. I'm 5'6". He's 5'7", so he's got me.
Oh, he's an inch shorter than me. I didn't know this. By the way, Tom
I
Cruise.
love that. I love that.
It's just the
Too
the
late.
women that these movies cast that tend to go for taller women.
Yeah.
By the way, Dave Mattingly says Tom Cruise grew up in my town. My cousin was in high school with him.
Cool.
I thought you'd be older. So did I. Yeah, your Aunt Ginny? Yeah, that whole thing about the age difference was, it's a little poking fun at the characters. Last chance will flip you for it. Too late. By the way, I use this line a lot when I'm talking with people on social media or certain apps or whatever. I always say, these are the facts, and they are undisputed. I always drop that Kevin Bacon line there, Kearns.
Mm.
It's a good one, too.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying.
So Ryan, you missed it before, so I'll say it again. So this courthouse is actually a civilian courthouse, and the reason why is they were originally going to shoot in a Navy one, but Rob Reiner and the production czar went to a Navy courthouse, and they're like, "This looks a little plain. Let's shoot in a civilian one. Looks better."
Wow, there you go. I was unaware of that.
That's why I'm here.
Full of fun facts is
He's
Kearns
gonna-
on these things.
I'm gonna give you terms like code red. Code red. Yeah. Kevin Bacon, 3 years after this, I think, is when he's in Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks and Bill Paxton.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
right.
another great one.
Finally got around to seeing that movie during the lockdown, Kearns. It's pretty good. It's not a movie.
Brilliant movie.
It's a very serious, dramatic, survivalist movie. At the same time, I think to
If you
myself,
like filmmaking, watch the behind the scenes stuff, especially with how they did the zero-G scenes.
yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Listen, I liked Apollo 13, but I don't think I'm going to go back and revisit it. For me, it's like a one and done. That's just me, though. People think differently, and that's fine, because everyone has their favorite filmmakers and films. And hey, if you have any thoughts about it, let us know in the chat. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. What are some of your other favorite Rob Reiner directed films, if you want to chime in on that?
I mean, Princess Bride, of course, is a classic.
Yeah, I mean, what about The American President?
I've never seen it.
Gosh, Kearns, you got so much homework to do tonight, man. The American President with Michael Douglas and Annette Bening and Michael J. Fox. Speaking of Marty McFly, hello. He plays a very pivotal role in that movie.
Speaking of Marty McFly, did we mention Marty McFly on this stream?
No, I don't think we have. I'm just making this up as I go. But I will say this. If you haven't seen The American President, it's streaming on HBO Max, Kearns. Watch that movie. That was basically Aaron Sorkin's precursor to the television series known as The West Wing. Because it came out in 95, and The West Wing came out a few years after that.
Yeah,
So,
I'm trying to...
yeah, The American President. It's on HBO Max.
No, I'm trying to look at his director.
Oh, you mean his filmography?
Yeah, I'm trying
No,
to look
feel
at
free
his director.
Anyone else? Feel free to Google it in the background. Dave Mattingly says, "I love the film known as Apollo 13. It's an occupational hazard." Because he worked for NASA. There you go. Nice one there, Dave. Just saying. Oh boy.
I feel like this guy was another character actor. I feel like I've seen him in something. Probably.
Mr. R.C. McGuire? Yeah, he might look familiar. I don't know. Anyone else have any information on that? I'm not sure. We are in the 1 hour and 9 minute mark here in the movie known as A Few Good Men, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary, believe it or not. Feel free to join us. If you're just joining us, feel free to queue it up on a streaming service or a physical media. Queue it up. Watch the movie along with us. Share your thoughts, anything at all about this movie in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends. Once again, thank you for those of you who have joined us in the chat. Whether you're watching us live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to our panelists, Matt Kearns and Willow Schuyler, who came all the way from Canada just to be here today. So there you go. People have traveled far and wide and whatever. I'm just kidding. It's a virtual studio. People can come in here whenever, really. It's just one of those things. Oh, you mean the character actor Robert McGuire was also in Apollo 13? Oh, okay. Nice. Good fun fact there, Dave
Yep.
Mattingly. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Talking about Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise's future co-star and future Oscar winner, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, yes. Corporal Hammaker. That's right. Yep, we got a young, up-and-coming Cuba Gooding Jr. in this scene.
One of the most famous Oscar acceptance. I wouldn't say speeches, just moments.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen his when he wins the Oscar for
Don't think I've seen his speech, but I do remember him winning the award that year.
You should look it up. It's great.
Okay. I have to look that up. I know it's on YouTube somewhere.
Show me money. Oh, I should edit this scene and just have them both shouting, "Show me the money." But then the reactions are like Kevin Pollak and Demi Moore. And they're like, "What are you doing?"
They're like, "Why are you even saying this right now? We're in a courtroom. It doesn't make sense."
How has that not been like an SNL comedy sketch to where it's like A Few Good Men, but it's all Tom Cruise characters like on the stand?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm not really sure.
You can definitely. I'm sure there are apps that you can find that manipulates the mouth.
Oh yeah, that's right. The whole
Oh,
reconfiguration, the facial app, whatever it's called. There's so many different apps out there right now. It's ridiculous. You know, the good thing is when it comes to technology and using the ability for someone to use a green screen, it's really fortunate that Shia LaBeouf was filming the Just Do It thing in front of a green screen, because that thing has been manipulated and used in countless parodies and movies and clips on YouTube for many, many years. And by the way, some of them are really funny, especially the Star Wars ones. Have you seen the Star Wars parodies?
Have you seen
where he's screaming at Anakin to just do it?
I think my favorite one is the one the guy did where Shia is outside his apartment and he's just like, "I'm gonna call the cops on you. Yesterday you said tomorrow." You know what sucks about that is if you actually listen to what Shia LaBeouf is saying in that, it's actually very positive advice. But
yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Like it's like, don't say tomorrow, just do it now. Don't wait. But he did it in such a Shia LaBeouf way that on a green screen.
Crazy things that happen on a daily basis, whether it's here or on the interwebs. Dave Mattingly says, "I saw a parody poster for A Few Good Men with John Goodman playing all the roles."
That's funny.
Nice. I did not know that, Dave. Interesting stuff. Because John Goodman's a good actor. He's a really good actor too. He's a strong character actor, I would say. I mean, did you see him and the work he did in 13? What is it? Is it 13 Cloverfield Lane?
I have not seen that movie.
That is hey, it's better than, I'll tell you what, it's way better than Cloverfield.
I have not seen that either.
Don't worry about seeing Cloverfield, but just watch 13 Cloverfield Lane and you'll love that movie. It's such a great thriller. It's a psychological thriller.
I did run to Arachnophobia, which I know he's in.
I think that's the only thriller movie that you've actually said good things about.
Which one?
What? Ryan's not a thriller fan?
I didn't take you for someone who liked scary movies.
Who, Kearns or myself?
Either one of you.
No, I like certain horror films. I'm not a big fan of the horror genre, but there are certain horror films that I do like.
I'm more into thrillers than strips, so like I can watch like Silence of the Lambs and Jaws, but I'm not into like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, that stuff. I'm not into movies that are like intended on making you feel uncomfortable the entire time. Poltergeist is like the one I watched this year for the first time and I loved it. So that's like probably my favorite horror movie. Yeah.
What did you think of the little girl turning her head and saying, "There he is"?
It's creepy.
What did you think of that?
That freaking clown.
Yeah, dude, Poltergeist is one of the best. I think it's one of the best horror film, like thriller/scary movies ever made. Period. I think it's great.
You moved the headstones, but you left the bodies, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the other thing is, when you want to talk about horror films, I think one of the better and people have said this for years, but I'm just echoing what they were saying 40 years ago. When the little indie film A Nightmare on Elm Street came out, that's one of the best horror films, period. That is like legitimately
Never seen
scary,
it. Never plan on
terrifying.
seeing it. 'Cause
Okay,
I
well,
like sleeping, so
same here. I didn't want to, him come into my dreams that night, but fortunately, Willow, he didn't, so I survived the next morning. But but A Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the best horror films ever made, period. So
And
if you
one
want
of
a
the
really good
movies-
scare, watch A Nightmare on Elm Street.
one of the movies that was supposed to be a singular film but became a franchise against the director's wishes.
Hmm.
That happened to a lot of those movies, though.
Well, Halloween was originally supposed to be an anthology series.
Oh God! Do
about
not get me
different
started
things
on
that could happen
Halloween.
on Halloween. But everyone loved Michael Myers. Then when the third one came out, they're like, "Where's Michael Myers?" They didn't realize that's like now the Killer with a Mask was just one story told over 2 films. It's a shame they never got to really fully do the anthology series they wanted to do with Halloween, because who knows what other creepy movies they could have made. But no, instead we got Trick or Treat Mother Effer. So I hope you all were happy that you didn't like Halloween 3.
Jeez. Let's see here. Dave
But
Manley
back to A Few
says.
Good Men.
Dave Manley says you also need to see the music video for actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf. That's strange, but okay. So they're questioning the doctor who.
Here's the question about courtroom movies from 1992. Which is the superior one? Few Good Men or My Cousin Vinny?
Oh, Few
Both
Good Men.
92.
My cousin Vinny all the time.
I love My Cousin Vinny.
And I finally watched it during the lockdown currents, and I gotta say, like, it's fine, but it doesn't even get it. To me, the best parts of My Cousin Vinny are the first hour of the movie, and after that, it just goes downhill, a little downhill from there. Despite
Marissa Tomei
what's her name?
deserved
What's her
that
name?
Oscar.
Despite Marissa Tomei's Oscar-winning scene when she's like, "It wasn't on the verge of Skylock." Like, okay, that scene's fine, but the first half of the movie is the best part when Vinny walks into town and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Done with this guy.
He's fumbling over his words. He's messing up his clothes.
Honey, you solved the case. It's me in the shower. Oh, good. It shot me from behind. I couldn't feel worse about myself.
Yeah. Like the first hour of My Cousin Vinny is solid, and then after
That's
that,
from the last hour, Ryan. Disproving your point. I settled my case, Your Honor.
I'm just
Best
saying.
movie with Marissa Tomei, though, is.
By the way, I would
Hearts.
not have given her the Oscar for that.
What?
I don't think
What
it's
you
an
talking
Oscar-worthy
about, Will?
performance. I don't think it's Oscar-worthy.
If she deserves an Oscar for anything, it's the hard work she did to get rid of her accent. Like, that woman had a really thick Brooklyn accent.
You mean in the movie?
In life.
In real
Oh,
life.
in real life, she had to.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was
I gotcha.
her in My Cousin Vinny. That was her actual accent.
Well, she was putting on a little bit more of an act, but yeah, she
Oh,
had
okay,
a
I see what you
very
mean.
heavy
I see what you mean.
Brooklyn accent.
Yeah. Let's see here. Dave Mattingly says the movie My Cousin Vinny has been held. What does it say? Has been held as the most accurate depiction of the actual legal process. It's often used in law school classrooms. Jeez, man.
In my high school, I had friends who took
I did not know that, Dave Mattingly.
criminology class, and they watched My Cousin Vinny.
Strenuously object? Is that how it works? Objection. Over. No. No, I strenuously object. Oh, well, strenuously object. That means I got to reconsider. I got it on the record.
Nope.
Yeah, you also got the court members, Kearns, thinking that we're afraid of the doctor. See, our good friend Kevin Pollak here is about to lose his temper, don't you think? She made a mistake. Let's not relive it.
Nope.
I think another reason why this scene works is they're coming to a realization like how serious or maybe not so serious this case is getting. They didn't like him, so they killed him. And why? Because he couldn't run very fast. By the way, for those of you just joined us and wondering what the heck is Ryan quoting, well, I'll tell you what I'm quoting. I'm quoting A Few Good Men, which just turned 30 years young this week, and we are at the 1 hour and 19-minute mark here in the movie. If you were just joining us, feel free to queue up your copy on a streaming service or a physical media and watch the movie along with us. Share your thoughts and feelings about it in the comment section below. If you're joining us live or on the replay, welcome, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. And also, I want to say welcome to our panelists. Thank you both for being here. Thank you to everyone who has commented in the chat thus far. And if you have any thoughts about this movie, any positive, negative feelings about it, whatever it is, please let us know in the comments. And don't let our weird, crazy, pseudo-derailing conversations that some of us here have started drive you away from this special presentation of A Few Good Men, which is arguably one of the best legal thrillers of all time.
So what I like about this scene is I like that neither Kevin Pollak or Demi Moore are wrong for their reasoning.
Yeah.
You know, that Demi Moore is right. They do stand on a wall and they do protect us. But Kevin Pollak is totally right that they harassed a kid because he wasn't up to their standards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what's great about this movie is they don't, aside from Jessup, they don't really paint, life is gray, and they kind of show that it's like, this is a very gray matter. It's not black or white,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. It's a fair. What am I trying to say here? That's a fair point.
Because a lot of famous court movies, you look at To Kill a Mockingbird, it's like, yeah, very clearly Tom Robinson is like, he's totally in the right here. He's just screwed up. My Cousin Vinny, we know they didn't kill the store clerk. This movie, it's more, it's not so clear cut, and that's what's good about it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely a fair point. Sorry, I don't know why I keep laughing. I gotta stop doing that. But Dave Manley says,
I'm so sorry, Ryan, that my insights into this movie are so funny to you.
No, I'm not trying to laugh. Sorry, my mind is like going in 100 different. I'm kind of like Willow. My mind is going like 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, this movie is like the only one of the few lawyer type movies that actually can continuously keep my attention.
Yeah,
well, that's completely fair, Willow. By the way, Dave Manley says Kevin Pollak's Christopher Walken impression is legendary. Walken even invited him as his guest to his Hollywood Walk of Fame star ceremony. Incredible stuff, Dave Manley. I'm loving this. Why are you always giving me your resume? Because I want you to think I'm a good lawyer. I do. No, you don't. I think you're an exceptional lawyer.
This scene always makes me super hungry for seafood, even though I'm not a real seafood fan.
Demi Moore has been in so many films in her career, but this is one of the few films where this is like stretching her acting chops and pushing her to like play a character that she's never portrayed before. So this is the fact that she's in this movie and you think there's Demi Moore, she can't play this kind of a serious role, can she? Yes, she can.
Well, that's probably why she wanted it so badly, because of that, because she wanted to show people.
She did such an amazing job at, like, she was one of the producers from of Die Hard, which still blows my mind to this day, knowing that. Just like she's an amazing actress, she's an amazing producer. She's
great.
In my mind, she's the queen of Hollywood.
Wow,
really?
That's high praise coming from our fellow Canadian.
It is high praise. I mean, I don't know. Julie Andrews exists.
Oh, by the way, we're having a scene here where Noah Wyle has come to testify, and this is a young, barely, almost unrecognizable Noah Wyle because of how young he is in this scene. Plus, he's got the crew cut going, so his appearance has changed because he was filming. Was this during or before? This was either during the filming of season 1 of ER or right before he got the role as Dr. Carter on the television.
I would say this is before.
This is before because ER debuted in 93. ER debuted in 93, so this is right before he got the role.
Hey, Ryan, do you know who the creator of ER is?
Was it
Michael Crichton?
Yeah, I was going to say, it was Michael Crichton, yeah.
Yep, he took a screenplay that he had written called Code Blue and turned it into a series.
That ran for 15 years.
He went to school studying to be a doctor. That's why the movie is so... The show, is so medically accurate because Crichton actually knew what he was talking about.
Has anyone seen the television series ER?
Yes.
My mom was I actually was on the set of ER. I was in the set. When I was a kid, we did the Warner Bros. Studio tour, and we actually went to the lobby area. Yeah, my mom's a huge fan of ER. She was an OG Clooney fan back in the day.
Yeah, back.
That was before I was born. Yeah. By the time I was born, Clooney had left the series.
once
I
again,
do have to
Jeez,
like
okay.
I used to call ER the show that all the like all the actors would flock to
hmm
get somewhere back into Hollywood.
We'll talk about Tom Cruise. His co-star Anthony Edwards from Top Gun was on ER for many years.
He was on the first 8 season. Yeah, Anthony Edwards was one of the mainstays of ER in the first 8 seasons. Yeah, so that was a pivotal point in his career, pivotal role, I should say.
Yeah.
Corporal Barnes, where's the directions for Code Red in this book? No, Corporal Barnes, I'm a Marine.
Can you tell me where in this book the
No
directions
manual?
to the mess hall are?
Yeah, there's no book, no manual.
It's just so smart. Like that's what I like this movie too. Is it shows how smart Kathy is, because stuff like that to where it's like, well, where's the mess hall? Oh, you go there because you follow everybody. Interesting. So you do things that you follow, even if they're not explicitly in the book.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. You mean all your time at Gitmo, you never had a meal? No, 3 squares a day. So. Noah Wiley, all these young up-and-coming actors in this movie, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's an all-star cast. That's why we keep telling people it's an all-star cast that's in this movie. 30 years later, we're still talking about it. It's great. No further questions.
I love the smile he gives. Where he's like, all right, good one, Kathy, good one.
Tomorrow night we'll do a final Kendrick review. I want to slam dunk this guy.
Oh, also, I think it's this scene. I remember the ANC story notes talks about when Tom Cruise is meeting with Kevin Bacon, he orders a beer, and it was like, if you pay attention, no one in movies ever actually orders like a name. They just say a beer, because then you don't have to pay for a name brand.
You mean a sponsorship? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
It's called product placement, Kearns.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Some people don't like product placement, but hey, it happens a lot.
Yeah, some studios don't like it because sometimes they can charge a lot of money to have their product in their film.
That's a fair point.
This moment.
You left the door unlocked. Just keep driving. Are you aware you're under subpoena? Can't help but keep quoting this movie, but I hope you've enjoyed this presentation thus far. I mean, J.T. Walsh has been in a million different things. He was in Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Remember that? Robin Williams?
Yep, that's one of my favorite Robin Williams movies.
He's the commanding officer, I think, at the base. He says, "You stay out of my way, there'll be no problem. But if you toy with me, I'll burn you so bad you wish you died as a child."
One of my favorite war movies, actually.
Really? It's one of your favorite ones?
Good Morning Vietnam. Yep.
Interesting.
Not the best, but one of them.
What? By the way, how long is this list of yours, Kearns, where you stated that A Few Good Men is number 30 on your list? Is this your list of top 100?
Top 50. I've only gone to 50.
Oh, 50. Okay. Do you mind if I ask what your number 1 is?
Empire Strikes Back.
Star Warsian coming out. Okay. I got you. By the way, Dave Manley says his favorite Robin Williams performance was in the little indie film called Popeye. Have you ever seen that, Kearns?
I've seen part of it when I was a kid on TV, but I liked it. I just remember it was late at night and I fell asleep. But Shelley Duvall, Olive Oil, brilliant casting.
Shelley Duvall.
And incredible production design. I've been meaning to revisit that movie, actually.
I wonder if that's streaming anywhere.
I don't know if it is. Make my life easier.
Sam, when a flight takes off, there's got to be some kind of record of it, right? Yeah, you need a tower chief law. Get it. We're going to win.
Yeah, I got to look this up. No,
the deeper you get into this movie, the more serious you realize that this case is getting, and the lines start to get blurred. You realize that things aren't as crystal clear as you initially thought in the beginning of the movie. You know what I mean? I have Markinson. Well, where is he? Downtown Logic. 6-star Marshalls outside his.
I love this moment coming up.
When he orders.
Damn lousy softball player.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, in his defense, we only saw him playing basketball in this movie.
It's true. You never see him play softball.
So we don't get to know. You looked like he was a good basketball player, though.
Yeah. By the way, is he eating peanuts or popcorn in this scene?
Popcorn.
Thank you. I was wondering what the heck he
Popcorn.
was doing.
Which, by the way, people, if you go to a bar or somewhere and they're giving out popcorn or peanuts, it's not because they're nice. It's because it's super salty, so that you want
They
a
want
lot
you
of
to
drinks.
drink more.
Yep.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's like, oh wow, free popcorn is great, and then you
Free
eat it,
snacks.
it's super salty.
And then you're like,
so,
no, it's not.
and that's why they'll just keep giving you bowls and bowls of it. It's kind of brilliant.
Well, which do you prefer though, Kearns? Do you prefer the popcorn or the mixed snacks?
Well, I prefer popcorn because the mixed nuts would kill me. So.
Ooh, okay. Well, then never mind. Then never mind. What about you, Willow? Any favorites?
Popcorn.
What kind of popcorn though? You want butter on or just the regular?
Yeah, butter flavored.
Okay.
I see, like Act 2, like that where the butter's
Oh, you mean
already
the
mixed into it.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that. I don't like the messy, like if you go to a movie theater and you got put. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of like Act 2 microwavable popcorn to where it's the butter's already in it, so that it's not messy.
You were bullied into that courtroom, Kearns.
Do you guys like adding like candy to your popcorn, or is
Never.
that just
Never.
Like,
There
when
are
did that,
look. You mix
No.
drinks.
when
you do
did
not
that
mix
start
popcorn and
as a
candy.
trend? Like, I don't understand that.
The answer is no.
Some crazy people. You know
You
what? It's some guy who had popcorn and candy, but also soda. I was like, I only got 2 hands. Raisinets into the popcorn you go. That's how it happened. That's how it happened.
Wow. I don't know. When it comes to if you're sitting down somewhere, for example, we're watching a movie, right? You go to a movie theater. When it comes to movie theater snacks, really the only thing I'm cue on eating is the buttered popcorn.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I don't really get food. I normally just get a soda, or if I'm feeling fancy, I get an icy. That's really it.
You think so?
Those are the only things I get when I go to see a movie.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Oh, by the way, Dave Mattingly answered a question that we posed earlier. He says that the movie Popeye is streaming for free on Pluto TV. Okay. Thanks for the heads up there, Dave.
No.
Was not aware of that. Once again, we're not talking about Popeyes though. We are talking not that chicken. But we are talking about A Few Good Men, which is at the 1 hour and 32-minute mark here in the movie. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends. And if you have any thoughts about A Few Good Men starring Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, and company, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to our panelists for being here. Boy, this film is getting deep into the case. They are asking questions of Lieutenant Kendrick, played by the incredible Kiefer Sutherland. I'm aware of that. Ooh. So he's a snake in the grass, this guy. And he's very strict on what he believes in and the rules that he follows when it comes to Lieutenant Kendrick's orders. You see what I'm saying? That's how Kiefer Sutherland's character is going about it. Getting a little, I don't know, interesting. Maybe a few feathers are being ruffled here with Lieutenant Kendrick.
Well, what I like about Kendrick is he's someone who, like he joined the Marines because he wanted to serve his country and all this, but Jessup molded him into this guy. And, it's sad, you have these poor guys who it's just, it's like Johnny and Karate Kid. It's like, as Mr. Miyagi said, no such thing as bad student, only a bad teacher. He's got the worst teacher in this movie, with it being Jessup.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is also a great movie if you were a film teacher to show sort of the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
It hits all the beats, being, the refusal to the adventure, the call, gathering the team, the moment of no return. There's a lot of good examples of that. If you want to go away from the classics, like Star Wars and stuff like that, if you want to get fancier.
Yeah, there are plenty of films that do exemplify the hero's journey by, is it John or is it Joseph?
Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, we talked a lot about those in my film classes that I took at the university. So yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from.
I've never read the book. I want to. I want to.
I never read the book.
Actually.
He just brought up examples of it on the PowerPoint that he was showing us in my film classes at the university at the time. If anyone else has any thoughts on that, let us know.
Love to read that book.
What's another excellent example of the hero's journey? Dave, anyone else in the chat? Let us know.
I did a video on my channel about how The Last Starfighter is a great film. And on my WordPress, I wrote an article about how Spaceballs actually follows it to the T.
Well, yeah. I would say, by the way, I watched The Last Starfighter during the lockdown. Solid film. It's got a great spirit to it.
Yep.
So I do like
Lance
The Last Starfighter.
And Catherine Mary Stewart.
Oh, Catherine Mary
Stewart. One of the most underrated 80s sci-fi ladies, I think.
Catherine Mary Stewart's performance in Last Starfighter is way better than what she did in Weekend at Bernie's.
I actually have the novelization on Last Starfighter. I haven't read it yet.
I don't think you can even compare those two movies.
Well, I mean, she does have a supporting role, just like she did in The Last Starfighter. So, and yes, you're right, Willow. One is a sci-fi.
I like how Willow's just trying to wrap her head around.
I think Willow's trying to say, "Hey, Last Starfighter is a sci-fi drama," whereas, what is it called? Weekend at Bernie's is a straight-up dark comedy. Yeah, but here's the thing, Willow. Catherine Mary Stewart just acts better, and her role is more pivotal and better in Last Starfighter than it is in Weekend at Bernie's. I'm sorry.
Catherine Mary Stewart would have been a good Jennifer Parker in Back to the Future.
Oh, dude, yes.
She could have been a good Jennifer.
Yes.
Not as good as Claudia Wells, but she could have been a great Jennifer.
Well,
Claudia Wells is look. I like Elizabeth Shue.
Claudia Wells is
the better Jennifer.
Do you think Catherine Mary Stewart would have been a good replacement for Claudia Wells rather than Elizabeth Shue?
Well, I wouldn't say rather, but Catherine Mary Stewart would have been a great replacement for Claudia Wells.
I would have liked to have seen that because I could totally see Catherine Mary Stewart playing that character, 100%. Nothing against the people who have played that character in the past, but I would have liked to have seen that.
Again, it's like when you hear about the people who were going to be
auditioned for the role,
as John McClane before Bruce Willis, and you're like, man, I would have liked to have seen Richard Dean Anderson as John McClane. I would have liked to have seen that version because I love MacGyver. Like, I would have loved to have seen that.
No, you know what? I can't imagine anybody else playing.
Or like Kurt Russell as Han Solo. Like, you see his audition tape, and you're like, yeah, like I this is interesting.
You would have looked in the camera and said, "Call me Han, not Snake." I'm just joking. That probably would have been a pathetic excuse. But
I mean, like, I can understand why they were a little apprehensive about casting Bruce Willis at first, because I mean,
he was
about the only thing that he did. Yeah, he was a comedian, and about the only thing he did at that time was what was it, a Pepsi commercial? Where he's
wine
dancing.
Coolers, Seagram's wine coolers.
Is this true?
Yep, which actually paid him better.
Christopher Walken auditioned for the role of Han Solo?
Yes. But yeah, actually, Seagram's Wine Coolers was paying Bruce Willis better than the first Die Hard. But after he stopped drinking, he didn't want to support Seagram. He didn't want to be their spokesperson. Dave, Richard Dean Anderson, because of the success of MacGyver, was one of the top people on the list for John McClane.
Interesting. I would have been curious to see how that would have gone. But I will say this: Christopher Walken auditioning for Han Solo,
you can find SNL. Was it Kevin Spacey does his impression of Christopher Walken auditioning? He's like, "The Millennium Falcon. I'm sorry, that sucked." It's also where you get Norm Macdonald's Darth Vader. So you choke the guy? No, you have like, so what? I just walk over and choke this guy? No, you have this force. What kind of car does this guy drive?
I can't see Christopher Walken as Han Solo at all.
No Kurt Russell, young Kurt Russell, I could, but
like a really young Kurt Russell, I could have seen, but
you've never seen his audition tape? You should look it up on YouTube. He's pretty good.
I do like Kurt Russell, so
I mean, around that time, Mel Gibson was quite the action star. So
that's 75 in their casting. Mad Max hadn't happened yet. He was really a small-time Aussie actor. Mad Max was really the first time he did any action stuff. But he could have been good too.
No, Dave Manley just chimed something into the chat. Is that the link to Kurt Russell's audition tape? I'll have to look that up later.
I'm not clicking just random YouTube.
No, sorry.
Wasn't Jean-Claude Van Damme big around that time as well?
What, in 75? No, he was still in Belgium. He didn't come to the States until the mid 80s.
What was the movie Bloodsport? When did that
Bloodsport?
come out?
But his first big movie could have been Predator if they kept him. He was the original. He was the original person in the costume for the alien.
Really?
Then they changed the design. Yeah, you can look up the video. He was the original, and there is rumors that he doubled for Schwarzenegger in some scenes when the Predator's chasing him at the end of the movie. It's never been confirmed, but yeah, there's rumors that they kept him around and he doubled for Arnold. He was the original person in the costume because he had come from Belgium. He wanted to be an actor, so he took any jobs he could get. And then Bloodsport happened, and he was huge after that. You know.
Boy, we're learning all kinds of things about 80s
88.
movies.
Talk about 88. 3 action stars get their start. You get Willis in Die Hard, Van Damme in Bloodsport, and Seagal does Above the Law. All 3. You laugh now, but look, Seagal from 88 to about 96, 97, he could have taken over Stallone or Schwarzenegger as
if he wasn't such a jerk.
If he wasn't super Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. But, you know, people who worked with him knew that. Everybody, you know.
I feel bad for Raquel Welch, you know, having to put up with him.
By the way, Dave Manley says, Matt, speaking of unexpected stars and costumes, were you aware that John Wayne was in Star Wars: A New Hope?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, he does the voice of the one who finds the ship in Docking Bay 94.
The Imperial Spy.
Thank you. Yeah, he was the Imperial Spy. Thank you very much. So once again, even though we're talking about something that has nothing to do with A Few Good Men, we are.
Well, to bring it back to this kind of, what is your favorite courtroom drama?
I mean, this is right up there. This has to be my top 2.
I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird obviously has to be up there as well.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. I got to revisit that. Let's see.
No movie I haven't seen that's courtroom drama that I really want to see. Judgment at Nuremberg. I've heard that's a great movie.
Have I heard of that before?
It's the movie about the Nazi trials. Young William Shatner is in it.
Didn't work for Callie at My Lai. Didn't work for the Nazis at Nuremberg. And which Kevin Pollak's character mentions in this movie, A Few Good Men. Which, by the way, hour and 42-minute mark here in this movie of A Few Good Men. Feel free to queue up your copy on a streaming service or physical media. Let us know your favorite things about this movie. Maybe your not so favorite things about this movie. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends. And once again, thank you to our panelists for being here. For those of you who have chimed in the chat thus far, thank you all for being here. Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you. We cannot do this without you.
This moment come up when Kathy comes in drunk because he just feels like
we lost.
That's it. We've lost. It's done.
Because there was a misunderstanding with one of the witnesses.
Well, not only that, one of their key witnesses killed himself. So now it's.
Maybe we can get someone charged for the Kennedy assassination. Are you drunk? Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Dave Mattingly says that John Wayne's character in Star Wars was nicknamed Long Snoot. From Star Wars: A New Hope, by the way, that's what we're referring to.
Or just Star Wars.
Or just sorry.
It was original.
You're right. It's called Star Wars. It's not called A New Hope. Sorry. Well, it was retitled later, but whatever.
Yes.
Which we all know the history of that one, but I'm just saying. I'm gonna put on a pot of coffee. We got a long night's work ahead. She's gonna make coffee. That's nice. What about you, Willow? Are you coffee or a tea person?
I drink both.
Do you?
I was once mainly a tea person, but since working at Starbucks, I kind of became a coffee person.
Makes sense. You're around it all the time. How could you know?
Yeah. It kind of didn't help that I was literally inhaling coffee grinds.
Were you like Chris Pratt when he talks about his first job was at a burger place, and they tell him, they were like, you can have lunch, you can have anything, we'll just deduct out your paycheck. And he says he gets to the end of his first week, and they're like, yeah, you owe us $27.
That would suck for me. Honestly, that would suck for me because that was my main thing was, going to work, I'd have a coffee and maybe one of the sandwiches. And then I'd eat lunch there too. Like I think if it wasn't for, filling up my Starbucks card every day, I think I probably would have starved to death.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee fan, but I drink tea occasionally. Normally just when I'm sick, I drink tea.
Get your body back on its system. Yeah, or to get it better, I should say. By the way, Dave Mattingly chimes in. He says, my favorite courtroom dramas are as follows. 12 Angry Men, which is fantastic, by the way. 12 Angry Men is fantastic. A Few Good Men, solid choice. The Firm, the Firm's not, to me, it's not that good. My Cousin Vinny, the first half was good, and then the second half is downhill. Devil's Advocate, is that the one with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, not a fan of that one.
Here's the thing. I don't think of that movie as a courtroom drama. It's more of a spiritual battle type movie because it's called Devil's Advocate for a reason. So it's like Pacino trying to seduce Keanu Reeves into becoming like his new slave, I guess. I don't know. I did watch The Devil's Advocate during the lockdown, Kearns, and
spoilers,
it was fine.
Keanu Reeves is the devil's son in that movie.
Yeah, but but I don't see Keanu Reeves as the devil's son. I just see him as a nice guy who also happens to be named John Wick. That's all.
What do you mean? If we're talking about devil stuff, wouldn't Constantine be a better reference to make?
No, I'm just no. I'm just saying when it comes to his filmography, I don't think of Devil's Advocate as one of Keanu Reeves' best films. Even though he's solid dramatically in that movie, it's just overall the film's like, okay. Kathy's very upset. Kathy's getting upset. So, I'm telling you, so many of these actors in this movie, they grow by leaps and bounds by the characters they portray in this movie. It's just so good to see them grow and test their skills in acting. I actually thought...
So Kathy is an angry drunk.
I thought he was going to flip the table over at one point. But he was angry enough to swoosh all the papers off the table and leave a mess for a little bit. And then he cleans it up like 10 minutes later. I'm sorry I lost your set of steak knives. By the way, Dave Mattingly, that's a respectable list you have there of favorite courtroom dramas. I did watch 12 Angry Men right before, or I think it was right before or during the lockdown. Great movie. Great movie. Hands down. Have you seen 12 Angry Men, Kearns?
I'm not sure. I think I've seen the TV version, but not the film version. The TV movie version.
You gotta see the movie. It's so good. Are you familiar with this one, Willow?
No. I'm definitely gonna have to watch it.
It's an old school movie from the 60s, I think it was?
1957.
57.
Henry Fonda.
Yes.
Yeah, Henry Fonda. Marie, considered one of the all-time greatest film heroes.
And then they did a remake in '97.
I think that's the version I've seen.
Which is the TV, which is the TV film version that Kearns was just mentioning a moment ago. But yeah, if you haven't seen 12 Angry Men, please watch that movie. It's fantastic. It's one of the best courtroom films ever, or legal dramas ever. Okay, if we're gonna rank these movies, Kearns, let me give you some examples. So I like A Few Good Men, right? But I also like A Time to Kill with McConaughey and Sandra. Very beautiful, by the way.
Amistad, another good courtroom drama.
I haven't seen that one. Don't ruin it for me.
It's good.
But
and McConaughey's in that as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
and Anthony Hopkins.
I'm gonna have to put that. Hey, Kearns, I'm gonna have to put that on the list. A Time to Kill. I think A Time to Kill is really good. I like The Client with Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones. The Client is really good. Have you seen that one? That's a good one.
I haven't, but Tommy Lee Jones is one of my favorite actors.
Well, then you need to see The Client.
He's great. And Susan Sarandon's great as well.
Well, you need to see The Client then.
I'll add it to the list.
Client came out in '93, right before he got the role of Two-Face in Batman Forever.
The music just hinted to the final theme at the end of this movie, which is one of my favorite movie themes ever.
Which is, yeah, don't get me wrong about that. And then I also like, what's another legal thriller? The Lincoln Lawyer. McConaughey
Oh.
strikes again.
Lincoln is technically a courtroom drama, and
It
we
is,
talk
it
about
is.
Tommy Lee Jones. It is technically a courtroom drama.
but have you-
There's a lot of other things, but the court case.
Have you seen The
Is-
Lincoln Lawyer?
I've been watching the Netflix series.
Yeah,
Is it
I
any
heard there's
good?
a series about it.
Is it
Such
good?
a good. It's good. It's really good.
Okay, because it's sitting on my Netflix queue. I just haven't watched it yet, Willow.
Why was this such a famous thing in '90s movies to where everybody wore trench coats? But why would you not wear some with a hood when it's pouring rain? Why a trench coat?
You know what, Kearns? It beats me, but you know what? The Lincoln Lawyer is a solid legal.
I know.
Make sure you look. Make sure
it looks
you look
more
this one up.
dramatic if their hair's in the rain. I know.
Those are some of my favorite legal thrillers. I don't know how you feel about that, but let us know your thoughts and feelings about it in the chat. By the way, Dave Mattingly says, my favorite performance featuring Keanu Reeves is Bill and Ted, The Matrix, Constantine, the John Wick films, and The Replacements. Okay. I've seen the Bill and Ted movies. Well, I haven't seen the third one.
I have to. Okay. So, A Few Good Men's score was by Mark Shaman.
Oh, Mark Shaman. Thank you.
Mark Shaman. That's I want to give because beautiful end theme, which they reference there. Oh, I love it. Again, I might cry at the end of this.
There's no crying in baseball.
Remember, he sits 5,000 yards away.
He eats breakfast 500 yards away from 3,000 Cubans who are trained to kill him. Isn't that right, Willow? Oh, jeez.
Wonder if Kevin Pollak gave Tom Cruise any advice on doing a Jack Nicholson impression.
Wow, these are some.
Pollak's pretty famous for doing impressions in his stand-up routine.
You're gonna have to look that up sometime. I'm just saying. I think better with my bat. Where's my bat? I put it in the closet. You put it in the closet? I was tripping on it. Don't you just hate it when that happens? You walk into a house and you just trip on their bat. Or in this case, Willow, you got 7,000 cats. You ever trip over the cat?
Oh my god, almost every day.
And again, this is something I love about this movie is it's those little things to where it's like if he's not such a slob and leaves his stuff everywhere, then Demi Moore doesn't put the bat in the closet and he doesn't look at his dress blues and realize, wait, he never packed his bag.
He never packed his stuff.
Was hanging. He wasn't leaving.
Well, you know, what's Joe says to him earlier in the film, and you remember this, Kearns and Willow, you remember this too. She says, BS, you could have gotten that transfer order for anyone by picking up a phone and dialing any one of the dozen departments at the Pentagon. You didn't want the transfer order. You wanted to see Jessup's reaction when you asked him for the transfer order. Mm-hmm. You had an instinct, and it was confirmed by Martinson. Now, damn it, let's put him on the stand and end this thing. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's the little nuances, which is what you're getting at. By the way, Dave Manley says he does think better with that bat. Isn't that right, Willow? He does. Of course, that
statue is depicting a very famous World War II moment and photo.
Yes.
Very, very famous.
That's a heck of a statue, by the way. Wasn't that statue like the origin of that portrayed in Flags of Our Fathers?
Oh, no, I've never seen Flags of Our Fathers.
Because I saw that, and I think it may have.
I know about the story behind the actual image of the troops who retook the area and planted the flag.
Wasn't that an Eastwood movie, by the way? Flags of Our Fathers, wasn't that Eastwood?
I don't know.
Because I know Flags.
War movie from the 90s or 2000s.
No, it was in the 2000s. It was in the 2000s. Flags of Our Fathers. And then there was there was the spin-off of that movie called Letters from Iwo Jima.
Clint Eastwood.
All right, there were Clint Eastwood movies.
Flag of Our Fathers.
Okay, there you go. And Letters of Iwo Jima was the perspective of the other soldiers fighting on the other side of the
And talking about another great war movie from the 2000s, We Were Soldiers is another good one.
You know, I've never seen that one, Kearns.
It's a good one. I love it.
Mel Gibson.
Again, another one of my favorite war films.
Is it Mel Gibson in that?
Yep.
Okay.
A great commanding officer in that movie.
I've never seen it.
An officer who actually fights with his troops. As he states to his men, he's going to be the first one off of the helicopter to step foot on Vietnam. And he does.
Interesting. Well, once again, we are celebrating all things of, well, at least trying to, A Few Good Men, hour 54 minutes into the film. If you're just joining us, feel free to queue up your copy on a physical media or streaming service. Let us know your favorite thoughts and feelings about it in the comment section below in the live chat. Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. And I want to thank our panelists and everyone who's chimed in the chat thus far. And if this is your first time here, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more incredible, electrifying, great content. So there you go. We're about to get to the most pivotal testimony in this film, which is
But
Colonel
first we have
Nathan R.
this
Jessup.
moment between Demi Moore and Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Getting into the scene now where Jessup is about to be cross-examined by Kathy here. State your name and occupation for the record. And Sam is trying to do Kathy a favor, but he's a little late to the party. I heard they had to rehearse this scene 10 times just to get Jack Nicholson to be that angry.
Yeah.
To get him to shout certain lines in this scene. Did you ever hear that story?
I've never heard that story.
I could imagine so.
Yeah, they wanted to get Jack Nicholson so riled up.
I could, but also Nicholson's such a good actor that I also feel like he doesn't need that.
But that also, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's too early into Tom Cruise's career. I heard that Tom Cruise doesn't like doing multiple shots, though.
You mean multiple takes of the same scene?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me because Cruise, even today, he's a very emotional actor, and I feel like there's that sort of thing of like, of like the first take is, it's the truest. It's why Marlon Brando never memorized lines because he wanted to make them feel real. So
Really, that's what he did? No.
Oh, you've never seen the behind the scenes pictures of Godfather, where
No.
they have giant boards with the script. So Brando is looking at in Superman the movie when he's putting baby Kal-El into the ship. On the ship is the script, and Brando's reading his speech to his son in real time.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
about Brando's work ethic or his method acting.
Yep.
Well, script's right here, and she's just reading it point blank. He's like, no, I don't rehearse. I'm just going to read it. I'm just going to do it.
Some people believed it wasn't so much a method thing as just Brando was really lazy and didn't want to memorize lines. Could also be true.
I mean,
could also be very true.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't Brando known to be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
I mean, Brando wanted Jor-El to be a green bagel, so
That's just stupid. But I will give Marlon Brando credit where credit is due. Aside from the Godfather stuff that he did, I mean, one of my favorite films of all time is On the Waterfront.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because it's a great film. That could have been a contender. Have you seen that movie, Will? Have you seen On the Waterfront?
Yep.
That is such a great film. And by the way, Kearns, I have that movie on Criterion.
I've seen since high school.
Well, you might want to rewatch that. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. It's a great film. On the Waterfront. I even have the movie poster for that. Yeah. And the Criterion.
The Colonel's underwear matter of national security.
Is it a matter of national security? I wonder why Santiago wasn't packed. I'll tell you what. We'll return to that one in a moment. Now they're going over his telephone calls. You recognize those numbers? Oh yeah, I heard they did this in like 10 or 12 takes because they wanted to rile up Jack Nicholson so much that he would be like intense in the scene. I mean, that's what I heard. I mean, that's what I've been heard or told.
Yeah, and I like the smartness of their move. It's just like asking Jessup what he did before his flight.
Yeah.
To sort of prove that it's like, you did all this because you were coming here for like an afternoon. Santiago was going home and he didn't pack. Call anyone. Isn't that a little weird?
Yeah, probably is. Depending on what it is, but yeah. You know how many people he called? Zero. Nobody. Not one call. Not one phone call to a friend saying, hey, can you pick me up at the airport? By the way, Dave Manley chimes in. He says, tell me you haven't pinned his hopes to phone calls and foot lockers. That's my poor attempt at a Nicholson impression, Willow. I know it's not the best, but I'm trying here. Santiago was living for the rest of his life, and he didn't call a soul, and he never packed a thing. Can you explain that? Can he explain it? I don't think he can. Kevin Bacon's trying to save face here, if you will.
Well, he's not saving face. His job is to be the prosecutor. But this is a prosecutor's job.
Don't let me in with
his job is to prove they're guilty. Kathy's job is to prove they're innocent.
But he also makes a valid point in the earlier scene here, Kearns, where he says, "Don't let me in with Jessup just because we wear the same uniform. I'm your friend, and I'm telling you, I don't think your clients belong in jail, but I don't get to make that decision."
Yeah, that's what I said. I like that this movie is not black and white. That
No.
right. Everyone's got orders.
That's very true. That's 100% true. My answer is I don't have the first blank clue. Maybe he was an early riser and liked to pack in the morning. Or maybe he didn't have any friends. I'm an educated man, but I am afraid I can't speak intelligently to the travel habits of one William T. Santiago. Willow's probably thinking, why am I ever on the stream with these
No, I'm waiting for the good part here, dude.
You're waiting for the good part?
Once again, like the take for Watchalong, I'm just getting intently into watching.
Yeah, Kearns is looking at his camera and he's thinking to himself, I gotta stare at this movie. I can't talk. Is this what I was really called here to answer, Willow? Phone calls and foot lockers. By the way, is Foot Locker still a thing anymore?
Probably in the military.
Well, no. Well, what I mean is Foot Locker, the store.
Oh, yes.
Does anyone know if there's a Foot Locker in your area?
Yeah, right next to my FYU, my mall is a Foot Locker.
Okay, well that answers that question. Willow, is there one in Canada?
There was, yes. I think we're no more. Yeah, I think it's more known for like our Sports Check, which is like sporting goods stores.
Yeah, because I was gonna say sports is kind of a big deal in Canada, especially hockey. I'm just saying, Willow. By the way, Dave Manley's chiming in here with the lines. He's saying, "Excuse me, I haven't excused you yet. I beg your pardon. I'm not through with my examination. Sit down." It's about to get really intense here, Willow. Tension is building. Don't you see it?
I like how he's even pissing off the judge, and he's like, "All right, look, buddy, this is my court. All right, I'm the highest ranking person in here."
Anyone else noticing that? Have a seat, Colonel. Willow, I don't know what kind of unit you're running here. The 0700 flight was the first flight off the base. There wasn't a flight that left 7 hours earlier. By the way, hasn't the actor who's playing the judge been in other stuff?
Probably.
I wonder what else he's been in. Anyone else know the answer? I'm curious to hear what he's done. These are the Tower Chief's logs. I'm just saying. Boy, it seems like they just can't. Wow, these two. Too many promo materials. Anyway, this is ridiculous.
Have you guys seen the edit that I think it's Peacock did, where it's Elle Woods from Legally Blonde cross-examining Colonel Jessup?
Oh
it's
my
pretty funny.
gosh.
It's really funny.
Look, I like Reese Witherspoon, but I don't know if I want to watch that.
It's funny.
I don't think it needed a second movie, quite honestly. Or
you mean the Legally Blonde film?
Yeah.
Well, the second film bombed. You do realize that, right? Like the second film, Bond, didn't do so well.
Again,
so.
there are some movies, look at the Hangover series. It's like sometimes a comedy movie can just be a comedy movie. It doesn't have to be a franchise. Just leave it be.
Yeah. But yeah, I heard, what is it called? Legally Blonde, Red, White, and Blonde, like bombed horribly when it came out.
There's a reason why it should have just stayed as one movie.
Yeah. I mean, but look at the bright side. Reese Witherspoon went on to do incredible things with her career. I mean, she's won Oscars. She's a producer now, doing all these different shows on what is it, Apple TV Plus, and what is it, like HBO? I think she's doing some stuff for. I mean, she has done tons of stuff since her early days of her career.
Is the show she does with Jennifer Aniston, right?
And look how far she came. I mean, granted, it didn't work out for her, unfortunately, in the long run. But she met the love of her life, Ryan Felipe, on Cruel Intentions. They had kids, and then they split. And then she moved on with her life and did millions of other projects, and she's done quite well for herself. So she landed right on her feet. And by the way, Dave Mattingly says Reese Witherspoon was a lot of fun in Brendan Fraser's film Blast from the Past, which is a charming romantic comedy with Christopher Walken playing his dad. Have you ever seen that one, Kearns?
Is there any other kind of danger?
Have you seen it? Have you seen Blast from the Past?
Yeah.
All right, Willow has, but Kearns, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, you got to write this one down for next year. Do it. Write it down. Put it in your phone. Blast from the Past, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
It's getting intense in this courtroom, isn't it, Willow? Getting pretty intense back here, don't you think?
Yep. It's getting more and more intense.
I can answer the question, Judge. Court will wait for an answer. Santiago wasn't going anywhere. Because that's what you told him to do. Object, and when it went bad, you cut these guys loose. He's literally willing to throw away his own career just to get this question answered.
How'd you get me titled to him? I want the truth!
You want answers? I think I'm telling you, you want answers.
Guarded by men with guns.
You, Lieutenant Weinberg. Getting pretty intense, Willow. Some great lines here. Oh, by the way, Dave sent you a Christmas present, Kearns. He says, Blast from the Past trailer. Here you go. Right there. Just click on that. It'll be a little link.
And again, this is, where Jessup comes from. He's like, I'm doing the right thing here. I'm making sure that this country's safe from the bad guys. I'm in the right.
Mm-hmm. You use words like honor, code, loyalty. You use them as a punch. Look at this. A young actor going up against a Hollywood heavyweight like Jack Nicholson and earning his stripes. It's amazing, isn't it? Either way, what you think you are entitled to? Did you order? Dave Mattingly. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Nicholson? Wink, wink. Because weren't you the Joker just 3 years prior to this movie? Yes, I was. It's one of my favorite Batman movies, by the way. Is that one?
It is my favorite Batman movie.
It is, isn't it? I think Tim Burton's Batman is... I mean, of all the Batman movies that I think are the greatest, I mean, his has got to be in the top 3. Yeah, I would put Tim Burton's Batman in the top 3. Yeah. I think, is it? Yeah, it's probably top 3. It's probably my favorite Batman movie, but I don't think it's necessarily the best, but it is my favorite. I'm being charged with a crime. Is that what this is, Kearns? I'm being charged with a crime? This is funny.
Oh, goddamn Marine.
Look at this, Willow. I'm gonna rip the eyes out of your head. You messed with the wrong Marine. Look at Cruz. He is just not fazed by this. You know? It's amazing how he can keep his composure during so much pivotal scenes in this movie, don't you think?
When you're a kid and it's Christmas and everyone else gets the gift that was at the top of their list, but you don't, you're just looking around, you effing people.
This is that. That's right.
There's so many memes that you could use with that line in the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has childhood trauma.
Oh no! I was thinking of like meme things to use that line with, and that was just because it's Christmas. It's the first thing that came to my head.
Does this mean you're gonna get up tomorrow and like start making random memes and posting them on Facebook?
Probably. It wouldn't be the first time.
All right, because I can take those from your
Dude,
Facebook
I once
page
saw
and save
someone
them on
talk
my
about how
phone.
the end of Predator, when they're all turning heads, looks like the opening of an 80s TV show. And
Yeah.
I edited it with some of my favorite 80s themes, and it links up a little bit too well. Including Night Court, which is another great courtroom drama show. Love that show.
Fair enough.
Judge Harold T. Stone.
Dave Mattingly
Right.
says, my favorite Batman films are Batman from 1966, hashtag not my Batman, Dave, I'm sorry, no offense, and Batman Begins, which is a great film.
Oh.
Batman Begins is a great film, period. And then, by the way, Mattingly says he's not fazed by it because he's frozen, says about Tom Cruise's performance. Maybe he is frozen, I don't know. We're getting the verdict back about the charges that have been leveled against these Marines. So far, they're 2 for 3.
Guilty.
Not guilty on 2 of the 3 charges, though. Man, I actually thought they were going to be not guilty of all the charges.
That's such a hard being dishonorably discharged
From the Marine Corps.
Because that means that they're not allowed to be buried at a military funeral. Marines, there would be no flag folding at their funerals. It's hard in a case like this,
Because they just started becoming Marines at that point.
Yeah, and the thing is like, yes, they did wrong, but they were under orders, and it's rough.
It is. I really thought when the first time I saw this movie, I thought, oh, if they're 2 for 3, they got to be, not guilty because they really didn't do any. I mean, yes, something tragic happened, but it wasn't necessarily their fault. They didn't mean for it to happen that way because that's not what they were trying to do. They were just doing the code red, but it doesn't mean killing your fellow soldier. It was a tragic accident. He brings up good points here. We're supposed to fight for Willie. We're supposed to fight for people who couldn't fight for themselves.
I like that look Pollock gives them of like, because of what he said earlier, he realizes that these aren't bad guys. This scene, this moment here it comes.
Harold? Sir? It's very true. There you go. Job well done, Cappy. That's basically what Joe was saying. Herman Cecil Rodriguez.
Movie.
What were these gentlemen going to testify to? Strong witnesses, don't you think? I'll see you around campus. Gotta go arrest Kendrick. Will do.
Rob Reiner said this final shot was because he felt like this was a movie made in the style of classic films, so it should end in the style of a classic film with a wide-angle shot and a classic "The End."
Mm.
That's why I ended it like this.
Oh, impressive stuff in filmmaking by Rob Reiner, of course. Amazing stuff, isn't it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the conclusion of the film known as A Few Good Men. The end credits are starting to roll here on our side of the fence at the 2-hour, 14-minute mark. So that brings us to the conclusion of the 30th anniversary celebration watch-along of A Few Good Men from 1992, directed by Rob Reiner and starring Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak, Kiefer Sutherland, and a million other actors that I just don't have time to name. But I want to thank you all for being here. Final thoughts. Kearns, final thoughts on this movie, and what would you give A Few Good Men on a scale of 1 to 10?
Excuse me. Scale 1 to 10, it's a 10, easily. As we talked about so many times, from an acting standpoint, a directing standpoint, a production, a music, it's stellar on all levels. It's a fantastic movie. That, as I said, for the character Kathy, it's a great representation of the hero's journey. When it comes to a courtroom drama, it's a great gray film instead of being a black and white movie. It's just a wonderful movie, and as Rob Reiner has said, it's a very timeless movie. It's a movie that anyone can pick up and watch. It's not a movie that's loaded with cultural references or slang or anything. It's very much made in the style of A To Kill a Mockingbird or a movie like that, to where that's why it's going to hopefully be around for generations. I love it. As I said at the top of this, it's in my top 30 favorite films for a good reason, because it's a fantastic movie. Just great cast all around, and I think for Tom Cruise, it's a reminder that although we love him for all the stuff he's done in his career action wise, he is an incredible actor, and this movie really proves it. So
Yeah,
love this movie.
There you go. Well thought out. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And Willow, final thoughts on A Few Good Men on a scale of 1 to 10. What do you give this one?
Oh, I'm with Kearns, 10 out of 10. Like this movie gets better again. Like I said at the beginning, this movie gets better every time I watch it, and there's always something else, something new to take out. Like you see something new, you hear something new, and I learned so much from you guys tonight. So I appreciate being here.
Yeah, we were just full of somewhat useless information, but I'll tell you this though. So for me,
who needs IMDb when I have you guys?
I have to be honest. AMC story facts. It's just me remembering all those
from the presentation that you watched on television at one point, Kearns. But I'll say this to you. My final thoughts are: I think this is a great film. I think it's got one of the greatest semblance of a cast ever put on film. I think it's one of, if not my favorite, legal drama of all time. I think it's my favorite, I think I would say at this point. Scale 1 to 10, I'd probably give this a 9. I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10 on this one. There are one or two things I would have changed, or maybe changed up a little bit, maybe taken out, but that's just being nitpicky. Some of us, one of us has to be nitpicky on this show, and I guess it's going to be me, because I can run this show, and I run it the way I want. But needless to say, if you haven't seen this movie, treat yourself. Check it out. Enjoy it. And if you enjoy this presentation, thank you so much for being here. Every single one of you. If you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and share this video with all your closest friends. And I want to acknowledge just a few last minute things here in the comments before I go around the table to allow our panelists to plug their next projects. Dave Madley says at my father's military funeral just last year, they gave the family the shell casings as souvenirs.
Wow.
Okay. And he also says, thanks for the company and commentary. Esteemed hosts, thank you very much, Dave. We appreciate you being here. He also says, another solid, good courtroom thriller is Runaway Jury with John Cusack. I agree. I like that movie. Runaway Jury is a good one, Kearns. If you haven't seen that, write that one down.
Double Jeopardy is also a really good film.
Ashley Judd?
Ashley Judd, yeah.
Okay. Might have to look that one up, too, because I've heard about that film in the past.
Presumed Innocent with Harrison Ford is also good.
Something like that. Yes. That, among many other ones. So you might want to write these ones. You might want to write a few other titles down. I'm just saying. But listen, this has been great. This has been a lot of fun. Before I turn out the lights and go to sleep for however long it is, Kearns, where can good people on the interwebs find you on social media, my friend? What do you got coming up?
You guys can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter. 2 places on YouTube, Matt Movies 611, and Take 3 Productions. On Take 3 Productions, I host a couple of different shows, a video essay series called Second Look, a podcast called The Fandom Podcast. As for upcoming stuff, me and my friend Manny Franks, over the past couple of months, we have been doing a James Bond retrospective, where we reviewed all the Bond movies going actor by actor, and we'll be wrapping that up at some point, either the end of this month or early next month, where we're ranking all the Bond movies. So that's what I have coming up. Aside from that, I don't really have any projects coming up. I tend to sort of just do stuff and drop it. I'm not really much of a planner, so just follow me on Twitter and you'll see what's coming up. I do have videos in mind on Jerry Maguire, since we're talking about Tom Cruise, so that should be coming at some point.
Oh, that's great, man. That's awesome. Well, good work with everything. Thank you for being here with us and all the stuff you have coming up. Thank you so much for being with us. Willow Schuyler, our good friend from Canada, where can good people on the interwebs follow you on social media, everything that you have coming up? And I'm assuming one of those means Cryptid Crunch. What do you got coming up?
Yes. All right. So tomorrow morning, join me on Back of the Cereal Box with John Pica and Sarah Jenkins. You will also find me Sunday evening on Cryptid Crunch, where we're going to be talking about orbs. Which reminds me, I have to tell Keisha what we're talking about. Anyway, so you can, I've been releasing some videos on my cats. So follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok if you want to meet my lovely Clouder. So yeah, you can follow me all over social media.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with us, Willow. We do appreciate you being here. My name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. And I quote, it's on Saturdays, 12 p.m. EST. Our season finale will be on Saturday, December the 17th, 12 p.m. EST, where we're going to be having our very first ever returning guest, and that is Jody McPhee, independent comic book writer and artist. He's coming back. It's the sequel. It's part 2. First time we've ever done that in the history of And I Quote, to close out the season. It's exciting. Tune in. Those episodes are available on our YouTube channel. There's also an audio feed for that. All the links to where you can follow me and our guests who are on the panel tonight are located within the description below of this video. So make sure you check those out. Also, you think we're done for the year? No, we're not done yet. You know why? Because we have one more movie anniversary watch-along coming your way on Monday night, December the 19th. It is Tomorrow Never Dies. James Bond film. Speaking of James Bond there, Kearns, my friend. It's Pierce Brosnan. His film turns 25 years young on Monday night, December the 19th at 8 p.m. EST on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at It's Nerd Culture. Make sure you're following us on all forms of social media. Those can be found located within the description below. So check that out. Also, some other great stuff is coming your way very soon. We have taken the liberty of updating our playlist on our YouTube channel. We added a new one called Nerdy Books, where I sit down with independent comic book writers or prose writers, and we review some of their books. And we have the writer on as our guest. It's great. It's wonderful. Life is better when reading. So check it out. All kinds of great stuff is coming your way very soon. So make sure you check it out. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. And in the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe. Happy holidays to you and your families, your friends, your loved ones. And one more thing. Life is better when watching movies, whether it's A Few Good Men or whatever fits your fancy. But have a good one. Happy holidays. Take a look at this.
The Multiverse Fundraiser is a virtual fandom jamboree and a charity fundraiser all rolled into one package. We're not just raising funds for a good cause. We're raising fun. Our 2023 event will be supporting the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, which exists to spread awareness of aortic health and prevent unnecessary suffering through genetic research, widespread education, and radical advocacy. Our fundraiser combines celebrity panels, fandom-based panels, indie creators, and all of the fun of a virtual con for free. There's a little something for everyone while we support a cause close to our heart. Join us on January 20th through 22nd, along with celebrity guests Amy Yazbek, Jason Bear, Chris Gaucher, Victor Garber, William Catt, Cress Williams, Beth Broderick, Armin Shimmerman, Guy Gilchrist, Carrie Schaefer, Brian Hull, Amy Carrero, Jennifer Cody, and Joyce DeWitt.
All right, I'm a little tired, a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.